It looks like Trump's plan is going a lot better than expected. Iran just keeps losing leaders like flies. Rubio blasted all of NATO. Pretty awesome stuff, honestly. I respect it a lot. We're probably leaving NATO soon. J.D. Vance launched the fraud task force, and crazy stuff is happening on our soil, as well as, of course, HASAN PIKER crash out, Destiny crash out. Shuan Head just dropped a nuclear video. Apparently, I got called out. And like 6 geriatric liberals are swarming the streets to fight against kings. Insane stuff going on. Definitely subscribe. Lock in, boys and girls. Wild ride for today. Breaking news! Multiple targeted assassinations by Israel in Tehran tonight. We are expecting info on their identity soon. We actually got a lot of really good guys. Now, I'm going to tell you something diabolical, because a lot of people don't understand what Trump's so-called ceasefire peace deal actually is. It's Trump gives them an avenue to peace while our ally destroys them and obliterates them militarily. And this has always been the plan. A lot of people think that this isn't the plan. It is the plan. Every single Islamist third world commentator goes on Piers Morgan to say Israel is attacking them while we're in the middle of negotiations. This is the plan. At every single moment of this war and the previous war, every time Trump says heal, Israel heals. Trump is not saying heal. This is classic good cop, bad cop, and a lot of the third world is falling for it. It's pretty great. So Trump said something that shook the world.
I think that NATO made a terrible mistake
when
they wouldn't send a small amount of military armament, when they wouldn't send just even acknowledge what we were doing for the world and taking on Iran.
Well, can you really blame NATO? Every single one of those countries has like 4 bajillion Muslims in them now. Are they really going to say that, hey, good job, Trump stopping terrorism? And then all the Pakistanis in England will be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Terrorism is the top civilian honor in our country. And, you know, like, obviously you don't want to upset those guys.
I never considered it very risky, but war is always risk. You know, a lot of strange things happen in war that are very bad, but I didn't consider it. I know how great we're the greatest military by far. Anywhere there was nobody close. I didn't think there was a big risk, but there's always surprises with war. They can be very bad surprises. I mean, wars are lost that should be won. Many wars are lost. You think a country is going to wipe somebody out and they end up getting wiped out themselves. So it's always risky. But I think a tremendous mistake was when NATO just wasn't there. They just weren't there. It's going to make...
You see, I think we should have been out of NATO for a long time. I think this is going to be a recurring theme in this video because so many people talk about foreign spending and stuff. I am against foreign spending, all right? Listen, man, I am way too Jewish to give my money to other countries, all right? I'll be real here. We have so many issues here. We do not need to be funding foreign countries. And I mean all of the foreign countries, all right? We don't need to be funding any of them at all, actually, all right? Now, NATO is just a massive chunk of billions of dollars every year that we're funding NATO for what? We get zero return on investment. These bastards are nowhere to be found when we actually want them.
Money for the United States, because
I'll be honest with you. If the outcome of this entire Iran war is we end up pulling out of NATO, the entire war would have been paid for 5 times over from like our for 1 year of NATO spending. All right, like people do not at all understand how amazing it would be if we left NATO.
Spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO, hundreds of protecting them.
You do realize that the war in Iran cost $20 billion, right? We spend hundreds of billions every year on NATO, all right? And for what? For what? Why are we spending all this money? So that they could sleep a little more comfortably knowing that they have the full power of the American military behind them? In case something happens, we'll be there. Well, you weren't there, so why should we? I think this is awesome. Know your place.
And we would have always been there for them, but now based on their actions, I guess we don't have to be, do we?
We don't have to be. I hope you sleep terribly tonight, queer Stalin. All right, and it's really not looking well good for these guys. Now, everything that the leftoids were afraid of is actually coming true.
No, but I was watching this and I'm hearing them saying, could he be losing the MAGA base? I don't think so. You know why? Because MAGA wants to win, number one. Number two, they want our country protected. They don't want another country out there that's hostile and crazy to have a nuclear weapon.
True.
And number three, they like us protecting certain allies, whether it's Israel or Saudi Arabia or Qatar or UAE, any of them. They want that. MAGA wants strength and they want victory. They want
He's not wrong.
success. And that's what we have. And
Where's
we
the
have
lie?
been very, very successful. You know, when I went into Venezuela, I said, because I campaigned on the fact peace through strength, you wouldn't have to use it.
Yeah. And
I said, you'll never have to use it. But sometimes use it.
this is
And
the
Cuba's
actual
next,
broadcast.
by the way. But pretend I didn't say that, please. Pretend I didn't say that. Please.
Cuba might be next. Pretend I didn't say that. Cuba's next, by the way. Pretend I didn't say that, please. Bro, I love how every single one of my predictions just ends up completely right. I have to say, it's pretty insane. Every single time I say something and then I see Trump say it like 2 weeks later and I'm like, oh yeah, dude. But the truth is he's right. Objectively, killing terrorists is awesome, actually. All right, a lot of people are very gay about it. It's like, yeah, they're trying to develop nuclear and ballistic missiles. Their stated goal for the last 47 years is obliterating us. But actually, it's immoral to kill terrorists that have sent 2 assassins against Donald Trump. You know, like, I'm really tired of, like, the gay politics. And I'm sure we'll get into it later. I'm sure that I'm going to be looking into, let's just say, alternate opinions on this. And they are very entertaining.
Blown up every 2 days. No, everybody's afraid to announce who's the head. We don't even know who the hell the leader is. So I think we have regime change already. But we're going to be, at some point, we'll be leaving.
Yep.
And I think you're going to see a rocket ship because we won't have that dark cloud hanging over our head, Steve, right? That we did before, which was a nuclear-armed, sick country of Iran, because it might have affected your country, Saudi Arabia, and the others, and it certainly affected Israel more than anybody, the hatred they have for Israel, but it also affected us, because with modern-day equipment, they can fly. And how about the fact that they've blown up every
They literally
2 days.
hit an island, 4,000 kilometers away.
We did it powerfully. We did it with the respect of the world. And we helped a lot of allies. And we learned about other allies. We learned that other allies weren't there. We didn't need them, but they weren't there if we did need them. And that's going to be very costly for them. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. And
Yeah, we know.
And Kuwait, they were stand up, more so than NATO.
I love how he's like, Israel, great ally, better than NATO. Saudi Arabia, great ally, better than NATO. Bahrain and Kuwait, great allies, better than NATO. Yeah, I wonder if he's actually hinting something
Never
here.
help us. And if the big one ever happened, and I don't think it will, but if the big one ever happened, I guarantee you they wouldn't be there.
Oh, shit, dude.
And
NATO's literally sweating so much right now. But we are their lifeline.
From that, and remember what I said, because they made a big mistake.
Oh,
they
they
not
did.
There.
Whether they agree with the war or they disagree with the war, by the fact that we are funding their entire national security, all right? We are 70% of NATO, all right? 70% of NATO's spending and military comes from us, all right? And these bastards can't be grateful enough to pick their asses up when we want their help? Nah, dude, it's so over. So over. This age of entitlement, like the libtard age of entitlement is over. Yes, of course, all these African countries are entitled to our trillions of dollars. Yes, of course, all these people are entitled to immigrate to our countries forever, from whatever shithole they crawled out of. Yes, of course, all of these people, these poor people are entitled to socialized housing and shit. Right? This age of entitlement is so dead. It's over. I'm tired of it. And I think a lot of people are tired of it.
The Chancellor of Germany, these are all friends of mine. Friedrich.
Friends of mine, but they betrayed me.
A man that we just discussed, the king, the future king of Saudi Arabia. And I also love the king of Saudi Arabia. What a man he is. When I was there, we bonded. He would grab me to get up. He was a little frail at the time. And this was a long time ago, and he's still doing well. And he'd grab my arm to get up when I was sitting next to him. And they said, that's the only time he's ever grabbed anybody. He would grab me all the time. And I said, I think he likes me. And he did like me, and he still likes me. And he's a great man, and say hello to him. He's a great guy with a great son. But
yeah. So, by the way, a lot of people don't know this probably because you're only watching, a lot of people only watch like mainstream news sites or headlines. But if you actually do the reading on what's actually going on, Saudi Arabia is spending over $1 trillion on the United States as like a thank you for fighting Iran, and please continue killing Iran, the IRGC leadership. All right, Saudi Arabia is the #1 biggest lobby for us to continue this war, more than Israel. I think Israel definitely wants us to, but I think Saudi Arabia is pushing us even harder than Israel is right now.
A short time ago, we were together, and he looked at me, and he said, you know, it's amazing. 1 year ago, you were a dead country. Now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. He didn't think this was going to happen. He didn't think he'd be kissing my ass. He really didn't. He thought he'd be just another American president that was a loser, where the country was going downhill. But now he has to be nice to me. You tell him he better be nice to me. He's got to be. But it was really something. He said, though, he said, you know, it's amazing.
Didn't think I'd be kissing his ass, but then he came and it was so orange. Yeah, all right, dude.
3,554 targets left.
He knows exactly how many more targets we have. Oh my God, literally all these retards that were saying this is going to be a forever war in the Middle East. I'm going to be so vindicated by the end of this. At least I hope so, because if this is a forever war in the Middle East, I am going to hang up my political career. No, I'm gonna take a huge L, but it's not going to happen, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, I said from day one, this is a side quest. This is the anti-Ayatollah side quest. They're not even the raid boss. Right, the raid boss is obviously the Democratic Party, but the side quest is killing a couple of Ayatollahs in the Middle East that have been trying to kill us for the last 47 years.
And that'll be done pretty quickly. And then, we, you know, at some point, we're going to have to determine what we do. But they have, they've never seen anything like it. Stop looking for whatever.
So only another, what was that, 3,554 targets left?
Doesn't work that way. You need those launchers. And we knocked out 97% of the launchers.
By the way,
That's why you may be attacked, but you're not being attacked with very heavy numbers of missiles like at the beginning.
I do. He is right about this. All right, if you've actually been paying attention, they're firing like less than 5% of the missiles that they've been firing on day one. Yeah, they're losing big time. So Marcus Rubius just went to the G7 summit of World Cucks, of where they were all basically waggling their finger at him, saying, "Why are y'all so mean to NATO?" And Rubius has been cooking
about it in the G7. Okay, everybody talks about these blackouts. Cuba's been having blackouts all of last year, all the year before. There isn't a naval blockade surrounding Cuba. The reason...
You mean to tell me that HASAN PIKER, who went to Cuba with his $1,300 pair of glasses, was lying about the United States naval blockade for Cuba?
Why Cuba doesn't have oil and fuel is because they want it for free.
There it is. There it is. Remember, Cuba's broke. All right, a naval blockade is not going to get them oil. The only reason why they've been having this free oil before is because Venezuela was propping them up. But why would I give Cuba a free oil? Fuck Cuba. All right. I love the Cubans. I hate the communist dictatorship that's a pawn of China. All right. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, the reality is this naval blockade that like the HASAN PIKER socialist commie crowd is talking about, it's not real. All right. Obviously, we are sanctioning Cuba. We don't want people to do business with Cuba in general. But for the most part, they want shit for free. No one's giving that to them anymore.
And people don't give away oil and fuel for free on a regular basis, unless it was the Soviet Union subsidizing them or Maduro.
Unless it was the Soviet Union or Maduro. So this isn't really stopping them from being a prosperous country. Communism is stopping them from being a prosperous country. This is all the buildup, because Cuba's falling next. Or tune in next month for the fall of Cuba.
Subsidizing them. They just don't do it. They may get a shipment here or there now and then someone, but not enough to sustain their country. Okay, so the reason why they're having that's why they don't have fuel, and the reason why they're having blackouts is because they have equipment from the 1950s and 60s that they never maintained or kept up.
Yeah, so that's their narrative put to rest. Yeah, and good try there. I'm really glad HASAN went to Cuba. Anyway, the Iranian foreign minister is now calling Israel out for doing a genocide. After massacring 40,000 of their own people, they're saying, you people are genocidal.
The Iranian foreign minister, what he said at the UN Human Rights Commission, accusing the U.S. and Israel of...
Oh, they're accusing us also. They're accusing us and Israel of doing genocide.
Genocide, essentially.
The Iranian... Oh, okay. Well, he's an expert in genocide. They're experts in that because, you know, they sponsor terrorism all over the world. And they've killed...
Yeah. Well, if you want to talk about genocide, we are talking to the leading pro.
Thousands and thousands of people. Look at the Middle East. Look at the Middle East, guys. Every problem in the Middle East tracks back to Iran. Hezbollah, Iran. Shia militias that are destroying and threatening Iraq, Iran. Hamas, Iran. The Houthis, Iran. Assad when he was in Syria, Iran. the only kind, the way, I mean, everywhere you turn, they're behind all of it. They are a destabilizing, dangerous, evil force that had to be dealt with. They have to be.
But I'm really glad that we have the United Nations where they can condemn us of genocide. Do you see why I'm so like tired of like the NATO shit and the UN shit? Right? The UN comes together to say the Iranian guy in the UN condemns our human rights violations. Excuse me, you just massacred 40,000 of your own people in the streets, like, and shut off their internet so they couldn't scream. You're going to accuse us of human rights violations? That's why I'm so tired of, like, this international law, right? Because all this law is based on consensus, and it's a consensus of complete fucking immoral, goat-fucking pedophiles, right? I don't give a shit if I'm condemned by Iran. Oh, no! Somalia's condemning us for, you know, having an IQ that's just way too high. You know, like, I don't give a shit if we're condemned by Somalia or if we're condemned by literally any of these people. I don't care if a tribe, the Tongva tribe, gets upset at us, all right? You know, honestly, I know that's not in Africa, but I don't care. Oh, I'm an African tribesman with a bone in my nose. I was elected by my 4 other guys in the jungle, all right? Now, I condemn the United States of slavery. All right, dude. That's why I'm so tired of, like, this international law bullshit. It's just fake and gay. It's not real. It's a non-existent bullshit apparatus to control us. That's literally all it is. There's no other explanation. All right. Yes, so that the powerful countries can get controlled by the weak bitches that are immoral shitbags, but they've banded together, and now there are a lot of votes in the UN. So I don't care about any of these actual organizations. They mean nothing to me.
The US tells Zelensky that security
Oh, this is huge.
depend on withdrawal from Donbass.
That's a lie. And I saw him say that, and it's unfortunate he would say that because he knows that's not true. And
So this is Rubio directly calling Zelensky out as a liar. Question: did the U.S. tell Zelensky that security guarantees depend on withdrawing from Donbass? And Rubio obliterates him.
that's not what he was told. What he was told is the obvious. Security guarantees are not going to kick in until there's an end to a war, because otherwise you're getting yourself involved in the war. Okay, what is a security guarantee? It is troops that are willing to step in and secure. If you put that in place now, that means you're injecting yourself in the war. What he was told very clearly, and he should have understood it, is that security guarantees come only after there is an end to the war. But that was not attached to unless he gives up territory. I don't know why he says these things. They're just not true.
That's right, Zelensky. Bro, Zelensky is getting fucked by everyone right now. Because the reality is, under the Biden administration, there were a lot of lies that forced us to spend $350 billion on a Ukraine war that doesn't affect us.
The US position on Donbass.
We've told the Ukrainian side what the Russians are insisting on. We're not advocating for it. We've explained it to them. It's their choice to make. It's not for us to make for them. We've never told them they have to take it or leave it. The role we have played is to try to figure out what both sides want and see if we can bridge the middle ground. The decision ultimately is up to Ukraine. If they don't want to make certain decisions or certain concessions, then the war keeps going.
Yeah, and he's just completely right here. So Russia wants territory. Ukraine doesn't want to give up any territory, even the stuff that Russia already took. And the war just keeps happening, and tens of thousands of people will keep dying every month until someone capitulates. I have a feeling most likely it will be Ukraine at the end of the day, because Russia is much more powerful. And while that's all doing, guess who's footing the NATO bill? That's right, it's us, the taxpayer. Now, when I said that people don't understand how badly Ukraine is actually getting exposed right now, this is insane. Trump tweeted this. U.S. intercepted Ukraine government messages directing plot to route money to Biden's re-election. This is the full Trump post with the article and everything that was actually discovered. I actually covered this in my previous video. If you watch Nuxanor, you're up to date with literally all the things. But the reality is we intercepted Ukraine government's plotting to get Biden reelected because Biden is the president that gives infinite money away and keeps all the wars going. Trump ends wars. Yeah, he might start a couple, but he ends them quickly. All right? He ends them fast. Biden just gets them all going, and they will never end, and he will sign infinite checks. And that's basically the Democratic policy every single time. Just keep signing checks without doing fucking anything. The world knows that, which is why, you know, they're more than happy to start wars under under these conditions. And then we're just literally on tab forever. No one saw this one coming, but Saudi Arabia officially confirms they will be joining the war against the Islamic Republic of Iran. Leftists in shambles because they were convincing us that Israel was forcing us into doing this, and Trump just wants wars because he's bloodthirsty, unlike the very peaceful Muslim countries that totally hate war and have never started a war before in their entire life. Well, Saudi Arabia is joining the war against Iran. I'm going to show you Hassan's crash out in a second.
What I can say is new right now. We're just getting word that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia
Oh my.
says they will join the U.S.
Oh
in the
my.
operation against the Islamic Republic of Iran. They said
That's
that
awkward.
this comes in the wake of Iran attacking the U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. I just spoke to a senior U.S. official who said the Iranians made a big mistake by firing on Arab coalition partners. Now they are likely to respond. So by Iran firing missiles at UAE, Bahrain,
That's rough,
Qatar,
buddy.
Kuwait, Saudi Arabia,
That's rough,
and
buddy.
Jordan, they are now
This is what we called they fucked around and they're finding out.
likely to fire back at Iranian targets. So those coalition partners are now going to enter this operation that started off as a U.S.-Israeli operation.
So my theory was, Saudi Arabia always wanted America to obliterate Iran. Some of America's biggest donors are actually Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, all of them being bigger lobbyers in the United States than Israel by metric amounts. As an example, AIPAC spent $100 million in the last election cycle, Saudi Arabia spent $350 million in the last election cycle, and Qatar spent $250 billion in the last election cycle. Now, don't get me wrong. I am against all foreign lobbying. I don't want any of that happening in our country at all. I don't think any lobbying in our country should be done for foreign governments at all, period. This is just an objective fact. These are just the objective numbers. So I think Saudi Arabia wanted to pull back, and now that Trump is talking about peace potentially, he's like, no, you have to keep killing them, please, Mr. President.
That is very, very significant, and we haven't seen that happen in the past. The U.S. military has been focusing on high-value targets, I'm told, the IRGC, significant facilities. What I can say is
and now Saudi Arabia is joining the fray. No one saw this one coming. All right, so this is a generational headline from the New York Post. Iran gives flimsy excuse why it's probably gay and injured. New Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei hasn't been seen. Generational headline, I do have to say, not even gonna lie. Now, the Crown Prince of Iran, all right, Reza Pahlavi, he dropped a quite the line. All right, a lot of people very much approved of this.
President Trump is making America great again. I intend to make Iran great again.
Oh, shit. Things are happening, man. Things are happening. Look, I want to see this regime collapse as much as the next guy. I just don't want our people down on the ground. I just don't want our people on the ground in Iran. I don't want a forever war, but I would love the regime to fall and the people to actually get their country back. Now, Kash Patel, our FBI director, was also investigating potential foreign influence. And there's a reason why I'm including this here.
And that's how I know we're winning. And if Eric Swalwell wants to come online.
Eric Swalwell is a Democrat. I'm pretty sure he's a senator from California. Massive vocal anti-Trump, Trump deranged retard.
And talk about what jacket size I wear. I'm happy to send him a women's medium so him and Fang Fang can go out again.
Yeah, so this is the FBI director very, very heavily implying that Eric Swalwell is actually a suspected Chinese intelligence operative, and he is literally starting to open an investigation in this. This is huge. But the reason why I'm bringing him up is because you know how when Hillary Clinton's emails got leaked, it was like the #1 page story of all time that it was leaked and it was a nightmare. Well, it turns out. That's the spoiler. It turns out the FBI director Kash Patel's Gmail account was hacked by Iranian nation-state hackers. They hacked his email and they published everything. Everything. They published when he was on vacation in Cuba, that he liked cigars, that he was here working in New York, that he was making funny faces in the camera, that he was, they published everything. They published his porn accounts, actually, which is pretty diabolical. So this keeps happening, I guess. No one saw this one coming. And it's literally just been dead silence in the mainstream media. No one wants to even talk about this. Unfortunately, there was nothing that juicy that was released. It was just like a lot of very personal, like kind of humiliating shit. But this happened, apparently. And now, don't ask me why the leader of our FBI is a foreign national gooner, but that's where we're at these days, it seems. However, at the end of the day, this is an Indian W, all right? Nothing illegal exposed, no scandals exposed, just kind of a guy being a guy with a Pornhub account that likes cigars and partying in Cuba and shit. So this ended up just being a massive L all around. Now, Donald Trump, I saw this post, I was losing my mind. Trump considers renaming Strait of Hormuz after either America or himself once he evicts Iran. All right, so when I saw this headline, I was like, this is not real. He's not actually going to do another, Gulf of America. the Strait of Trump. He's not doing it, bro. Well.
We're negotiating now, and it'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Trump. I mean, Hormuz.
No, bro.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say he accidentally said, no. There's no accidents with me, not too many.
Oh,
if there were, we'd have a major story.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know, man. Bro likes dropping these little one-liners, but I don't know. Dude's dreaming, that's for sure. Missed opportunity to call it the Epstein Ravine. No, I'm kidding. But, man, this is fucking insane. What is this timeline? Now, again, the actual wildest developments here is all the people that are, like, against this Iran war are kind of squabbling with each other right now, which is pretty funny, if I do say so myself.
Rubio is now the favorite of the Israelis and the pro-Israel Jews as of the last several months. Why? Because after my interview with Tucker and Tucker's general anti-Semitism, which I don't agree with, by the way, I'm against blood guilt.
We have Nick Fuentes calling out Tucker Carlson for anti-Semitism. What is happening?
Tucker seems to hate Jews. I don't, because I'm a Christian and I hate blood guilt. So I agree with Tucker on a lot of things.
This is I fucking love Hitler. Hitler was really fucking cool, guy. This is amazing. The greatest timeline of all time.
I don't agree that when he says things like hummus-eating Pharisees that killed Christ, I'm like, hey, man, I don't agree with the blood guilt, okay? We all killed Christ because our sins put him on the cross. So I don't agree with that. Tucker's a little too hardcore, and I think he should really lighten up and stop hating Jews so much.
What is it? What just happened? Literally, what just happened? This is insanity, dude. But yeah, just to answer a lot of comments that I get why I'm much harder on Tucker Carlson than on Nick Fuentes, the answer is really simple. I disagree with Nick Fuentes on a lot of different things, but I do think ultimately he does want America to be great, and he does love America. I think Tucker Carlson is an actual, like, Islamist shill. I don't think he's operating in the best interest of our country. Like, when Nick Fuentes is going to be like, you know, Hitler was cool, it's because he means it, all right? When Tucker Carlson says he doesn't hate Jews, it's because he's lying. And I appreciate the honesty. I'm a very simple man. That said, while I do appreciate the honesty, I do think that his take on this entire Iran war was ridiculous. He was hoping that the Iranian regime would massacre more protesters in their streets because he wanted them to be crushed, and he wants Iran to get nuclear weapons because then they could properly threaten Israel. I think that that's fucking diabolical, delusional, and retarded. But I do appreciate the honesty nonetheless, because I think I think Tucker Carlson also wants them to get nuclear weapons. He just lies about it. Now, HASAN PIKER. I can't believe this is happening. Sneeko, based right-wing guy, is allying up with HASAN PIKER now, guys, because they're both Islamist chills and they both support Iranian terrorism.
Calling it now, he's about to convert in disgust. What?
Yeah, he doesn't know about the Shia. He doesn't know.
Muslims, yet Shia Muslims led by Iran are the only ones confronting Israel. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's going to go from Sunni Muslim to Shia Muslim.
Come on, bro. Oh, come on.
Oh, look at him grinning. Oh,
Sneeko's about to go on a Shia
so nice.
He's going to go around going, Ya Ali.
Ya Hussein.
How the fuck did he get him on stream, Hassan, and you did not? What the fuck? Brother, what are you talking about?
Yeah, so here we have a very interesting bonding moment between based right-wing Sneeko and communist left-wing terror supporter HASAN over their mutual love of Islamic terrorism. Honestly, beautiful things are happening on the internet these days. All right, now Nick Fuentes, right, a friend of Sneeko and an arch nemesis of HASAN, obviously, had this to say.
$20. Birds are protectors. Tel Aviv is cooked Sharia law greater than Judeo-Christian values. Absolute coal mine from Sneeko today.
He's such a kohler. And it's just like, he hates America, bro.
True! Sneeko does hate America, actually. That's right, it comes with converting to Islam.
Sneeko hates America.
It's a side dish of Islam, is hating America. It actually literally says it in their holy book. All right, listen, when Jews and Christians are the lowest of creatures, it says in the Quran. All right, why are we surprised?
Today he goes, Sharia law is incompatible because we're not like degenerate pieces of shit. No, Sharia law is incompatible.
So leave. I love when people do that, and then they're here. It's like, Yeah, I live in America because America's awesome and I came from a shithole. Anyway, the shithole's way better. So go, so leave. So literally leave. All right, get out of here, bro.
Because it is fundamentally not of the West. It's because you force your women to wear like a giant black face mask and cloak like that. How about that for openers? How about brushing your teeth with a stick?
I'll be honest, brushing your teeth with a stick and wearing giant black cloaks not nearly as bad as, you know, open advocating for bestiality. All right, how's that? How's that? I don't think that one's very nice. To quote Ayatollah Khamenei, the retard terrorist who's dead now, you know, God bless, that guy's dead. He said that you have the right to rape animals, just make sure you slaughter them first, and feed their meat to neighboring cities, not your own city. That's a direct quote. All right, like, you know, I'll be honest with you guys. It's incompatible with the West because rape is not really such a bad thing, actually, because they marry children, you know, literally, legally. Every single radical Islamist is a Jeffrey Epstein, just much less successful and probably less intelligent. But yeah, I love watching cracks form in a relationship that had zero chance of succeeding.
How about facing Mecca? How about forcing non-believers to pay a jizya? How about all the other shit? How about jihad? How about, you know, beating the shit out of women? How about all this other crazy stuff you got going on in there? No pork, halal only. Just stop with that. Just stop.
Are you smarter than a fifth grower? $20. How many?
Yeah, so it's pretty diabolical. Watching the retard civil war happening on the timeline. Literally no one saw this one coming. Now, this was a pretty insane article released from Politico. New, at HASAN PIKER is driving a wedge in the Democratic Party. Oh my God. They surveyed 14 potential 28 Dem candidates. Either whether they would appear on a live stream with PIKER if invited. Only 3 said yes. No! HASAN PIKER, I can't believe this would happen to you. No! Holy shit, all the retards are having the worst days of their life. Every person anti the Islam war, the Islam war never ended, by the way. The Crusades are still happening. People just didn't notice. But the people that are against the Iran war are having the worst days of all time. We have 14 people, not if you endorse Hassan, if you would even be seen with the guy. And 11 of them are like, no, actually, no, nope, no, sir. Is that the guy that said America deserved 9/11? Speaking of leftists having terrible days, this is Destiny crying about how he's broke. I don't know what happened. All these downfalls, they happened at the same time.
Do you really make considerable money per each regular stream if it's worth skipping events for grinding streams? It's not worth it to skip. Wait, no, yes. The only money that I make right now is from streaming on Kick. So when I do events, it costs me a considerable amount of money.
I think this is because he got demonetized on YouTube when he was like making fun of Charlie Kirk getting assassinated. I could be mistaken. But he got his YouTube demonetized, and now apparently he's broke because he's also in like these court cases because he's getting sued for allegedly recording his girlfriend at the time unconsensually during sex and then sharing those recordings with other people. So like apparently he's getting sued for like revenge porn. So he's in court, he's getting obliterated, he's making no money on YouTube, and he's broke. Dude, why would you admit this online, my guy?
Yes.
Oh, never mind. Humiliation fetish. Never mind.
And then I'm getting squeezed from way too many places right now with zero external support. So, because I don't have YouTube money, the Kick stuff doesn't pay out as well as it used to. And then between court costs and then taking time off to travel and do events or whatever, it's a lot. It's a big old squeeze.
Damn, bro.
I still be.
Damn, bro, you just admit that one out loud. That's crazy. Yeah, so anyway, bro's broke. No one saw this one coming. This is so sad. Not trying to be laughing at his downfall or anything, but this is literally the most self-induced issue I've ever seen in my life. Don't advocate for violence on your YouTube channel, and your YouTube channel would make you money. No one saw this one coming at all, actually. Now, while the leftoid influencers are having a terrible day, the rightoid influencers are having a fantastic day. So this TikToker made a video and said, please, Donald Trump, you need to hear this. And Donald Trump actually reposted it.
If you stay to watch the video, please tag him down below, share, and repost so we can try to get this to him as quickly as possible and hope that he can do something with this. President Trump, as a supporter who voted for you 3 times, I am hoping and praying that you will revisit what Barack Obama and Joe Biden got rid of back in 2013, which is the Smith-Mundt Act, which held news corporations accountable for lying to the American people and spreading propaganda.
I just want to say something just from like a complete moral level, forget legality for just a second. The fact that our tax dollars are literally going to these gigantic globo-homo organizations that tell us news, and they tell us news with a specific bias and slant and lie to us, is diabolical. It's fucking insane. It's fucking insane that I pay taxes and my tax dollar goes directly to CNN to lie to me, subvert my will, and try to manipulate me. I'm literally paying for my own manipulation. This is like Europe spending money on the Ukraine war and then buying oil from Russia, all right? Like, I'm not exaggerating, all right? This is exactly what's going on. We are paying our slave masters to enslave us, all right? And I think it's diabolical, and this conversation needs to be had.
Instead of truth. I think instead of bringing it back as a Smith-Mundt Act, you name it the Charlie Kirk Act, you make it a law, and you
I
make
agree.
it...
Charlie Kirk, advocate for free speech, named as the act forcing speech. I'm so funny. I don't know if that would fit so well, but you know, I approve of the message. I approve of the message. I think anything that our tax dollars go to fund should be directly for the benefit of the American people. Lies do not benefit the American people, so therefore our tax dollars should not be funding it. It's actually as simple as that.
Damn near impossible for these people to continue to lie to the American public, which has brought chaos, hatred, division, and anarchy all across this country. Fines out the ass, which will damn near bankrupt their companies should they lie to the American people ever again. They can have their opinions, that's fine. They need to state that it is their opinion and that it is not a fact.
Yeah, it's true. She's so right.
Because of their constant lies, a man lost his life over it. Because of the constant hateful rhetoric of calling him a fascist and a Nazi and a white supremacist and a bigot, the same thing that they called you, this man is dead. I think this would be a great legacy for him to have a law named after him to force journalists to finally start telling the truth and having the integrity that they have lacked for over a decade. I hope that this gets to you. I hope that you think about it and that you pass it into law. Because we are on a dangerous path right now with the constant lies and the propaganda, and that doesn't end just at news journalists. It needs to go to content creators who consistently spread lies and propaganda and half-truths across the internet. This needs to end, and people need to start being held accountable for baseless claims over absolute abysmal things. It needs to end. So please, if you have it in your heart to have the time to do this, get this in front of Congress, get this passed as a law, and start holding these news corporations, be they right, left, or center, accountable for their behavior.
Yeah, so actually based, and Donald Trump, a man of the people, actually reposted this to his Truth Social. So my opinion is this would be nearly impossible to pass the way she's presenting it. I think it needs to be presented that any news organization that is literally specifically getting public tax dollars, if government is funding the media cannot lie. Or we simply will revoke all government funding of said media. But I totally get the sentiment. So we have Donald Trump listening, but... so we have Donald Trump listening to his base. We have Donald Trump listening to, you know, your average right-winger's opinion, which is pretty awesome and based. And then you have the leftist politicians. 3 out of 14 agree to be seen with HASAN PIKER, and the other 11 want nothing to do with the guy. Truly fucking diabolical, dude. The lesson here is not supporting terrorism? ? Now, the crackdown on fraud is diabolical as well. It's going crazy well, actually. I mean, this is one of those things that I'll admit, I was a little bit of a nothing ever happens chud, all right? I was pretty sure nothing was going to happen here because, listen, whether you're red or whether you're a blue politician, these guys are making bajillions of dollars on our dime, all right? And I never thought this would end, but it looks like it is. J.D. Vance launched the fraud task force, and they're actually schmooving.
From Iowa to Idaho and from Minnesota. Did I hear Minnesota? How is Minnesota doing? What's going on? What's going on in Minnesota with that crazy governor, that crooked, corrupt governor?
True.
How about the attorney general? Do you think he's a dirty cop? You think he's a dirty cop?
Sorry for the audio. This is literally how it was filmed.
All right, we'll get Minnesota back. We'll take it back from Somalia.
We will take Minnesota back from Somalia. The rallying cry of the generation.
What we've seen is Somali fraudsters at an industrial scale taking advantage of that program.
It's racist if you notice that the rapist is black.
To the tune of millions and millions of dollars. And there are two separate tragedies there. The first tragedy is that you have people who pay into the federal government, who pay into the IRS, who pay their taxes expecting that those taxes will go to help their fellow citizens.
That's right.
It's not going there.
It's not? Where's it going?
To help fraudsters. That's
So I wake up, I work hard, I pay taxes, and now I'm funding a war in Ukraine that has nothing to do with me. I'm funding media conglomerates, CNN and shit that literally just exists to lie to me. And I'm funding my neighbors, the Somali Leering Center? No, dude.
Tragedy number one.
Why taxation is theft.
The more important tragedy is that you have families who need these services who are unable to get them because people are getting rich off of fraud schemes instead of making sure that autistic children and their families get access to these resources. And unfortunately, that story, while it's very concrete and very obvious what we're seeing in Minneapolis, it is replayed again and again and again across many states and across many different programs. It has to stop. The President of the United States has ordered us to stop it, and that's what this task force is going to do.
There it is. Dude, I love this, by the way. I think this is incredible, and things are already happening.
I have it here, which was shared exclusively with us. They plan to focus on what they call high-speed, low-verification programs. You're looking at the full list of the programs right now Trump is focusing on. It includes Medicare, Medicaid, which spends $2 trillion a year.
That's a lot.
They're also looking into the Department of Labor's unemployment insurance's $43 billion with the B a year spending spree. And yesterday, the task force hosted its first meeting.
Yep.
Americans have turned over trillions of their tax dollars to social welfare programs to help their neighbors and fellow citizens through hard times. They've done so on the basis of social trust, the belief that their government, state and federal, will do the right things with their dollars. If we fail to address it, the fabric of our nation will swiftly unravel.
He is right. He's just straight up right. It's insane that I'm getting nickel and dimed on my tax dollars, and then these retards spend it on this. All right, and I'll be honest with you, there's a reason why we see so much of this fraud coming from foreigners, and people are going to call me a racist, bigot, Nazi for this one, but a high-trust society, if it gets injected by a low-trust society, then it becomes a low-trust society. If our country was founded on the commandment, thou shalt not steal, and all of a sudden you inject it with parasites that don't believe in the commandment of thou shalt not steal, you get stealing. This is the most surprising, shocking thing ever. And I'm sure it's racist as fuck to even address it. Now, Nick Shirley actually did a little mini interview with the Vice President J.D. Vance on the fraud situation.
Now that we have the fraud task force here inside the United States, what will you guys be doing different than something that we haven't done before to tackle fraud here?
Well, two really big things, Nick. So the first of all is we're going to be coordinating across the government in a way that's really never been done before to focus on anti-fraud. So let's say, for example, that Scott Bessent or somebody at the Secretary of Treasury's office sees a fraudulent payment made, but it's not, it's not at the Treasury Department, it's at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. There's going to be coordination now so that when one person in the government sees fraud happening, they're actually telling everybody else so that we can get to the root of it and hopefully prosecute it.
Can I just say how it's not just insane that this was not the case before, it's negligent. It's almost like they wanted the fraud.
And that leads me to my second point, and maybe the most important is we've never before within the Department of Justice had a committed anti-fraud task force, a committed assistant attorney general who's focused on the fraud issue. What our new AAG focus on fraud has told me that right now we don't even prosecute fraud that's under $1.5 million, which
what? Dude, are you like oh my god, dude.
which means there's a lot of fraudsters who never get caught, who never.
This is like saying, well, if you shoplift less than $100, you won't call the cops. Like, dude, this is insanity, bro. What was even happening? What was even going on? And I have to pay my fucking taxes. I have to pay inheritance taxes, bro. All right, like, thank God my parents are alive, but at some point they won't be, and I'm gonna inherit money, and then I have to pay taxes because my dad dies. Are we serious? This is a joke, man. This is like a joke. The government comes and swoops in to take money from people whose parents just died, okay? But the Somali Leering Center is below the fraud threshold, so therefore we don't even have to look at it. Joke, country, man. We got to crack down on all this shit. Thou shalt not steal. One of the most important lessons of thou shalt not steal is there's no number attached to it, man. If you steal $1 or if you steal $100, you committed a sin, and it needs to be rectified. That is justice. Justice doesn't just target the rich. It doesn't just target the poor. It targets everyone. All right, I'm tired of this, man.
Never get punished. We're changing that too.
So there's people who are making $1.5 million committing fraud, and they used to not be. prosecuted. When can we expect to see prosecutions take place,
That's
for instance,
it, baby.
for example, like the Lears at the Leering Center?
The Learers.
So we just got AAG, our new AAG, confirmed. He hasn't even been sworn in yet. I'll swear him in next week, actually. And look, I think the plan is we got to start doing prosecutions as quickly as possible. These cases take a little while to build. You've got to investigate. You've got to gather evidence. But now that we have that guy set
God,
up,
I'm so happy that it's happening. Things are actually happening. We could just do things, actually.
now that we have Colin McDonald
And
set
can I just say, this is only happening because of citizen journalists. The reason why this is happening is not because CNN exposed fraud. It's not because it's not because Fox News exposed fraud. It's not because J.D. Vance looked under his pillow and found fraud. This happened because of everyone talking about it that were citizens. Nick Shirley, Asmongold, who reacted to him, me, who reacted to him, and all these other citizen journalists and commentators that really lit a fire under their ass to do something.
set up. I think in a matter of months, we should be seeing a significant ramp up in the number of prosecutions that we're seeing.
Oh, good shit, man.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Of course. Good to meet you, man. Thanks for all your hard work.
That's crazy. That's awesome, bro. I'm so happy. So this is the fraud task force had its first meeting today.
Task force work is that we're communicating across
Damn, bro.
departments.
Look at that stocked cast.
Talking to Scott
Stacked.
about things that he's seeing in Medicare and Medicaid.
Sheesh. Just a stacked room of goats. Stephen Miller's been dropping nuke after nuke there too.
The food stamp program, as an example, SNAP, and that, of course, is administered by Secretary Rollins. We do not know the names of any SNAP recipient in the state of Minnesota.
Excuse me, what?
We just get a blank check. We have asked the state repeatedly and tried to compel the state unsuccessfully to turn over their SNAP enrollment rolls so we could ascertain such...
Send in the National Guard. We could just do things, actually. We have to stop bitching, crying, and complaining and writing strongly worded letters back and forth because the Democrats' plan is running out the clock. I feel like a lot of people aren't aware of this, but they're trying their absolute best to make as much chaos in the country as they possibly can and then say, look at all the chaos that happened under Trump. It's all Trump's fault, actually, so that they could win an election. That's literally their goal. That's their entire strategy. It's very obvious, right? Fake votes, foreign voters, and also just cause chaos and blame Trump. That's their whole shit. Because they don't actually have any form of fiscal policy that they're promoting. They're not promoting any form of value or ideology that's worth literally anything. That is their strategy. And it's evil because we're dealing with demons. I think that's pretty obvious at this point. I mean, let's be honest. This is the Democrat Party is the party that opens the border to the rapists, and they say, please rape respectfully, sir. Otherwise, we'll have to jail you overnight and then release you to rape again, and we don't want that. We would just rather the initial rape being respectful, maybe make it a homicide as well, so we don't actually get any form of blowback, okay? That's the Democrat policy, all right? So we have to understand what we're dealing with here. Those motherfuckers need to be destroyed. Not violently, not against the law, but they need to be obliterated. We need to destroy them, publicly, obviously. And I think that if they refuse to send us voting rolls and they expect us to, for example, just write blank checks to them, I just think that's unacceptable. And I think we should be sending in the National Guard and picking that shit up. I think that's insurrection-y, all right? They're still a state of the United States, and they need to basically adhere to the general rules of our country.
Basic facts as, are these people even legally eligible to receive these benefits? And the state has refused. Absolutely categorically.
Yeah, that's insane. That's absolute insanity.
Categorically refused. And in fact, the state has spent millions of dollars in court for the singular purpose of trying to prevent the state from ascertaining the identity of a single SNAP recipient in the entire state of Minnesota. Think about what this does to public trust, social trust, people's faith in the system.
That's absolute insanity. Millions of tax dollars, right? Because when the state sues the federal government, we're the ones that pay for it, all right? Let's just understand. Right? Leftist thinks that the government is just a pool of infinite money that they could just give out to wherever they want. They don't actually take the step further and realize that it's our money that they've taken from us that they're now spending on whatever they want. So we, the taxpayer, are paying for Minnesota to sue the federal government for millions of dollars to prevent them from seeing if the people taking money for SNAP are actually eligible for SNAP. This is insanity, dude.
Minnesotan who works as a lineman or works as a construction worker, works in any job that requires hard work, dedication, focus, who's worried about his ability to support for and provide his family. And then imagine that he has a neighbor who's a Somali refugee who arrived 2 years ago and has a Mercedes and no financial stress and no worries at all in the entire world and never seems to ever go to work at all because he just went to an office in the state, lied on a piece of paper, and got unlimited free money forever for life. That is the system that is being run.
Think about it.
And that is the corruption that this task force, under the leadership of the vice president, is going to demolish.
Absolutely fucking based. I'm waiting for this to happen. And this is the streets of New York. You wonder... This is New York, by the way, today. You wonder why they're all coming here. If they hate our country so much that they need to do these shows of dominance that they're planning on conquering it. Because they have hundreds of mosques. They don't need to do this in the street. They do it as a show of force. That's very obvious. And it's not actually Islamophobic. Mostly because Islamophobia doesn't actually exist. I'm an Islamorelist. I'm not Islamophobic. I know that they want to conquer us. They say it themselves. So Speaker Johnson actually very much nails it on what the priority of the Democratic Party actually is.
What is their demand? At the root of all this, they want to reopen the border and they want to protect criminal illegal aliens just like this murderer here. That is the modern Democrat Party.
True.
And they verify it for us with their actions every day. This is not talking points. These aren't political talking points. This is the facts. At the State of the Union, you remember, everybody knows, the president said, he asked a very simple question: stand and applaud if you think the first job of the federal government is to protect American citizens over illegal aliens. Every single Democrat in the chamber sat on their hands. At this exact moment, even as we learn of yet another entirely preventable murder of an innocent young woman at the hands of criminal illegal aliens, Democrats in the House are demanding a DHS bill that would eliminate funding for the exact agencies that are tasked with preventing a tragedy like this. Just last week, 190 Democrats voted against 2 bills. What were those bills? Common sense. Expedite the deportation of illegal aliens who abuse service animals. They voted no.
Isn't that insane?
And those who commit fraud in our country.
Yep,
they voted no.
They voted no. They want to bring in fraudsters and prevent us from deporting them even after we catch them doing fraud. Understand what we're up against, man.
You don't have to take our word for it. Look at their actions, and you're going to see it.
That's why no matter, every time I see, like, people criticize Trump, okay? Like, a lot of the criticism is valid, all right? It is. I would like to see a lot more mass deportations that aren't happening right now. I would like to see that a lot. Homan says that they're going to happen. I'm waiting for it. They're not happening. I'm waiting for it to happen. The reality is, look at the alternative.
Yet again.
So it's like, man, I'm upset at Trump. I'm going to vote for the race communist that wants to trans my children and bring in infinite rapists.
With their words, their actions, their legislation, they tell you what they prioritize, and it is the welfare of criminal illegal aliens over American citizens. We ought to believe what they say and do. Their words and
not wrong. He's not wrong, bro. All right, now the U.S. Supreme Court is actually considering upholding Trump's new executive order to uproot birthright citizenship.
As a Fox News alert, next week the Supreme Court is slated to revisit President Trump's birthright citizenship executive order. Now, it directs all U.S. government agencies to refuse issuing citizenship documents to children born to illegal immigrants.
Based. The parents shouldn't be here. Why should the child magically get an American passport and birth certificate just because, poof, the parents broke the law and managed to give birth over the border? Obviously, this should be the case. That's obviously an exploit. And Homan went on Fox News to make sure to let us know, absolutely, we are going to keep cooking.
Team check. Mayor Mamdani has not made a statement about that veteran, but here's what he found time to say. Watch Mamdani.
I have made clear to the president, both in our private conversations and
the veteran that they're referring to is a veteran that was murdered by an illegal alien in New York that literally has not even broken the mainstream news.
Public conversations about the fact that I believe that ICE is a rogue agency. It's a reckless one. It's one that delivers nothing towards the furthering of the cause of public safety.
Yeah, that's not true, because if they would have deported this motherfucker that murdered a guy, then that guy that was murdered wouldn't have been murdered.
And I've also been public about my belief that ICE is an entity that should be abolished.
Of course. Another instance of a foreigner coming from a foreign country to our country, getting power because they got votes from foreigners and then voting to abolish our immigration enforcement. Many such cases.
Adams asked the Mamdani administration about that veteran pushed in the subway. They referred us to the Department of Corrections. Tom.
Let me remind Mamdani and the rest of these out of control Democratic governors, mayors, and members of Congress. The same laws are in place today that were in place under Obama, that were in place under Joe Biden. The laws haven't changed. The difference is we weren't allowed to enforce laws under those presidents. But guess what? President Trump's back in the Oval Office. We're not making this up. We're enforcing law. You don't like it? change the law. Until then, we're going to enforce the law and keep this country safe again. And New York's the same thing. When I was ICE director, we took over 5,000 criminals off the street in New York, the men and women of ICE. Again, Mayor Madami, you're welcome.
Yeah, so just insane shit all around. And everyone's doing this, by the way. Literally everyone. So this is Brandon Johnson, a mayor of Baltimore. He also refused to address the fact that there was literally a case of an illegal alien murdering an 18-year-old girl on his streets. He also refused to say it.
Legacy of standing up for justice, dignity, and the rights of all people, no matter where they come from.
What about if they come from here? What about if they come from America? Do they have rights and dignity?
I want to take this moment to reiterate that Chicago does not want ICE on our streets.
You do realize that in Chicago alone, over the course of the war with Iran, okay, there were more people killed in Chicago than our soldiers killed by Iran.
In our airports, nor in our city, Chicago believes in abolishing ICE. This tragedy is not going to deter us from our work.
That's right. Just because an illegal alien murdered somebody, you think that's going to stop us from trying to stop the people that trying to stop the illegal aliens from murdering us? You absolute buffoons.
In fact,
it was a white girl that was killed. We don't care.
It's going to challenge us all to double down on our efforts.
Right.
How can you double down? An 18-year-old girl was killed.
You know what you said, the protection of all citizens. I've met with hundreds of angel moms and dads who bury their children that should be alive today because their children were killed by an illegal alien. It's disgusting to even mention the words.
It's racist to try to prevent their deaths, Tom Homan, and you're bald. Got him.
It's abolishing ICE. ICE, like I say, since President Trump's been in the Oval Office, over 800,000 deportations. We're averaging between 60 and 70% of those who arrest criminals. So think about it. We have deported hundreds of thousands of public safety threats from this country, including the streets of Chicago. We have made Chicago much safer, and we need to keep going back to Chicago. Look, President Trump has made a promise to American people, make the country safe again. We're going to do it. I know DOJs, they got lawsuits against sanctuary cities. We got to pray those lawsuits are ended in our benefit and finally hold these lawless sanctuary cities accountable, because you know what? The men and women of those cities, they love ICE in their cities. Yep. We're making the city safe again. And you can attack ICE all you want, but these men and women are putting a gun on their hip and a Kevlar vest on every day to serve this nation. And I would think Mayor Johnson would say, thank you, ICE, because you made...
Yeah, you would think so, right? But what if he gets all of his votes from illegal aliens? Did he think about that one? Let's look at the stats. This is a pretty insane story. Let's see how much it was covered on the mainstream media. Well, it was covered for 1 minute and 19 seconds on ABC, 2 minutes and 1 second on CBS, and 23 seconds on NBC. The story of an 18-year-old girl, Sheridan Gordon, who was murdered by an illegal alien in Chicago. So, not covered exactly quite as much as George Floyd's suicide. Anyway, now, ICE agents are in airports everywhere, and the libtards are having terrible days.
Do you mind helping me figure out how you guys are helping? I keep asking, but nobody seems to know.
What did you ask?
How 7 or 8 of y'all that were just leaving, and they didn't answer. They kept running away. So what are you doing here to help?
Why your voice is so stressed out?
Why don't you just answer the question?
I don't have to.
You're right, you don't have to. That's
True.
Classic ICE behavior. But you should answer it because I'm paying your job. I'm paying your salary.
Okay. That's right.
So you're not welcome.
You're
stealing from the American people.
Stealing?
But why don't you just answer?
This
How are
is
you
legal.
helping? Look at these fucking long lines.
Dude, I love how these guys don't care about fraud, but they care about funding ICE. Right, sure.
Salary.
Okay, thank you.
So you're not welcome. You're stealing from the American people. But why don't you just answer? How are you helping? Look at these fucking long lines.
Why are you so upset? That's not a dumb
Because you
question.
guys are terrorists and thugs. Why would I not be upset? Everybody should be upset at you.
Listen, sir, that's your own opinion, okay?
It's not an opinion, it's fact.
I love how this guy's a foreigner.
It's fact. The majority of Americans hate your guts. That's a
not
fact.
true.
Okay.
Because you're using our tax dollars.
Have a nice day.
TSA's
I
not
just
getting
hope they
paid.
can work harder.
You're getting paid. You guys were big and tough in Minneapolis, slaughtering innocent Americans. But here you can't talk or answer questions?
Oh my God, people committed suicide by cop.
You do say dumb things, don't you? Everything you've said or asked me is dumb so far. So nothing from you. He's talking. Why not you or you? Do you not talk either? 6-figure salaries, $50,000 bonuses. I can talk to whoever I want. Don't tell me to leave anyone alone. Huh?
Should I ask you for permission?
No,
please?
whatever
Okay,
you want,
thank you very
fuckface.
much.
You can do whatever you want.
Why are you cursing me? Did I curse you?
So mad.
Again,
It's
with the dumb
amazing.
questions. You are full of them. I'd rather speak to the guys that aren't speaking because you just said dumb thing after dumb thing. I hope all the people you're terrorizing haunt you in your dreams. I hope your $50,000 bonus is worth it if you ever get it. You have no morals if you take this job. No morals whatsoever.
Bro, I love these grandstanding male Karens just bitching in public like they're gonna make the world a better place. It's honestly amazing. Why is your voice so stressed out? Why don't you answer the question? I don't have to. And I love how this guy was literally a foreigner. ICE is like the most diverse branch of government. It's unreal. All right, let's look at the stats. Under Reagan, there was plus 50,000 migrants. Under Bush 1, plus 55,000. Under Clinton, plus 67,000. Under Bush 2, plus 75,000. Under Obama, plus 68,000. Under Trump 1, plus 40,000. Under Biden, plus 200,000. And under Trump 2, minus 145,000. This looks like winning to me. Not enough winning, but winning, absolutely. All right, now the Tardos are having very, very bad days, all right? Specifically, the Tardos investigated for fraud.
And I will add a special thank you and a special acknowledgement that we will never leave the side of our Somali Minnesotans.
That's weird. Why don't you just not leave the side of all Minnesotans? Why specifically the Somali ones? Are they making you rich?
Here's our pledge to you. Our Somali Minnesotans, your great-grandchildren will still be here when that orange clown is in the dustbin of history.
I sure fucking hope not. Anyway, sorry, that was just a joke. Anyway, Minnesota's Attorney General is investigated for fraud.
And a Fox News alert also in Minnesota, the convicted ringleader of one of the state's biggest fraud schemes is speaking to Fox News from behind bars. Now, she believes that the scam was no surprise to local Democratic leaders, and she's naming names. She spoke to Alexis McAdams.
It's so over, dude.
Hey, Dana, yeah, so everywhere you look in the state of Minnesota, right, there seems to be another fraud scam. So this one involves Amy Bach. She's a Minnesota woman convicted of fraud for taking taxpayer money that was meant to feed hungry kids. But listen to this. Bach tells me the real issue here is the state of Minnesota, which she says kept giving scammers your taxpayer money even after they were flagged as fraudsters.
Weird.
I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this.
Oh, dude, they're going to jail.
Said they were involved
they're going to
in
jail,
helping
man.
the FBI. They've said they were made aware.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm scary, so they couldn't do anything.
So Bach ran this nonprofit called Feeding Our Future. You might have heard of it. It was one of dozens convicted in this 250.
Yeah, that was the massive autism fraud thing, and now she's claiming that everyone knew about it, which is very good news for me because I want to see Tim Walz getting perp walked. And the good news is, I don't think I'll have to wait very long.
I do feel very bad for Tim Walz because of what happened in the October 2024 debate. But unfortunately, we're going to have to maybe kick him again a little bit because, again, look, I don't know. To be clear, I don't know what Tim Walz knew about the fraud that was happening in Minneapolis. But what I do know is that the Department of Justice is now going to look into it. We're now going to investigate it. And if he committed a crime, we're absolutely going to prosecute it.
Yes.
Based.
Same with Gavin Newsom in California. There's a lot
Same
going
with
on
Gavin
there.
Newsom. Same with
Oh my God, bro. The cooking is happening. The chefs are in the kitchen. Something's going to happen. I'm counting on it. Something's going to happen. In fact, one of the big twists is J.D. Vance is looking into deporting Ilhan Omar.
Talk about Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz.
Exactly.
And obviously, Ilhan Omar, the president and the White House have been out saying that she married her brother, that there is immigration fraud going on here. These are deportable denaturalization offenses. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America.
Oh, shit.
I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out. Is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's
Get her
committed
out.
immigration
Deport.
fraud?
Deport.
How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually
Get
do
ICE.
the thing? How do you build a case?
It's really that simple.
necessary to get
ICE shows up, throws her in an unmarked
justice for
van.
the American
She
people.
wakes up in
There's a
Somalia.
related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out, that's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about, what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
Not a lie. Now, you see, my opinion is simple. The moment you find out that there's immigration fraud, you deport her. I'm a very simple man. You retroactively revoke her immigration papers and her citizenship because she defrauded her way into becoming a citizen. Now she is not legal in the country, therefore eligible for deportation. Period. The end. Very simple. I'm a simple guy, a modern guy with a modern solution. And I am convinced there is a gigantic switch somewhere that's called the fix everything really easily switch. All right, and if you flick that switch, it actually fixes everything easily. Now, the leftists are telling you, no, don't flip the switch. Even people on the right are like, no, please. If you flip the switch, they will call us racist. I'm a simple man, and I would flip that fucking switch immediately. If you committed immigration fraud, your immigration was not valid, you're not in our country legally, you're not a citizen, you're gonna get fucking deported. It's that simple, actually. And I, for one, am glad that finally things are being taken seriously. Not as seriously as flipping the fucking just fix everything easily switch, which I think should be flipped, but they're trying. Give it another couple of years until all the boomers are out of Congress and we replace them with radical right-wing bastards, and then holy shit, our country will transform drastically. All the people in their 20s that are radicalized, all those motherfuckers are going to vote for some pretty freaking scary people. And I, for one, am laughing about it right now. Now, there have been protests everywhere around the world. There have been protests in the United States, the No Kings protests, where a couple of very old liberals get together to shake their fists at imaginary demons that CNN told them to be angry at. And you got protests happening throughout all of Europe because the migration crisis there is way worse than it is here. Thank God that we get Europe to be our little testing pool to see that, no, actually, mass migration does not work because the barbarians do not actually want to behave like civilized human beings. And before you get all angry at me and call me a racist, well, I suggest you watch the rest of the video. So, left-wing activist judge Jessica Fehrenbach, sounds German, released an 18-year-old felon from prison. 4 days later, the same felon was charged with shooting someone dead. So, I think we need to fundamentally tear this apart from the get-go. The judiciary is evil. The laws that are being passed are evil, and it's under the guise, and this is going to ruffle feathers, of kindness and empathy. To quote Orwell in 1984, it'll start with the women. Women are wonderful and empathetic creatures, truly unbelievable beings of light and love. And their empathy, their beautiful empathy, is getting manipulated by evil bitches, and it's turning them into quite literally, the agents, the harbingers of destruction. I know I shouldn't be laughing about this, but every time I see, left-wing activist judge, it's just liberal white woman decides to release masked murderer rapist from jail, decides to mass murder and rape more people, much to the surprise of everyone. And then you look at the entire voting base of all these people, and it's the same people. All right, so this is uncut footage of the No Kings rally in Asheville. All right, let's study the crowd. All right, let's look at the crowd. All right, let's look at the crowd. It's literally all old, boomer, liberal, white women. The entire crowd. It's just old, liberal, white women. It's actually diabolical. And they're also fighting fascism, which is lovely. But there is no fascism for them to fight. They're saying no kings, but there's no king. I'm not rushing anybody here, but this generation will be gone in a generation. And what follows it will not be here to protest fascism. And it's this generation after generation of radicalized liberal white women with empathy for the rapists that are destroying our country. In fact, I'd go as far as to say they're destroying our civilization. Now, obviously, it's not only women. People are going to take me out of context, say that it's only women. It's obviously not only women. But if you look at the statistics, the large voting base of the left that keeps pushing it further and further and further left is women. This is an objective fact, and anyone that disagrees is blind or retarded. Or a woman. Kidding. Anyway, so this is the Philadelphia No Kings rally today.
Long live the Intifada!
Who's saying that?
Death to the Zionist entity!
It sounds like a very, very loving liberal white woman.
Death to America!
Death to America, says the lovely pro-America No Kings protest in Philadelphia.
Death to Dan Zimmerman!
So again, still following me.
For peace, death to America. Very, very cool, right? Am I right? It's like it's every single time. They have so much empathy. They're fighting for peace, guys, and they're so delusional that they actually believe it. Yeah, the settler colony, the United States.
So why are you guys blocking me? Why are you walking through the crowd? I'm not.
Why are you Why are you even alive, bro?
Walking. You're not in the crowd. The crowd is over there, so why don't you go back to the crowd? Again, all blocking me. Not in the crowd.
Palestine flag, right? The Palestinians who consistently vote for terrorist governments every single time they get the opportunity. We want to support them while we overthrow America. Death to America. I literally called this years ago. The entire Palestinian movement is a Trojan horse to overthrow Western civilization. They don't give a shit about the Palestinians. They don't care that Hamas started the war and they use them as human shields, and they routinely kill their own people. They don't care about any of that. They don't actually care about the Palestinians at all. That's just a really good excuse for them to say the Western world is actually evil and we need to destroy it. None of these guys know what's actually even going on in Palestine or anywhere else. All right, they have no idea what's happening. You ask them one question, they'll fold instantly. They have no clue. They've just been propagandized to care with their infinite empathy for this thing and use it as a Trojan horse to destroy our culture. All right, now it turns out, this was a pretty insane twist, that all these No Kings protests were, well, not exactly natural.
From these 500 groups with, get this, a $3 billion budget.
That's awkward.
Collective.
They spent $3 billion between 500 groups to fund these organic protests.
And where does their, political influence, their political contributions, and their, individual employee donations go? But mostly to the Democratic Party.
No shit.
And that's why
These are the Jeffrey Epstein billionaires, by the way. All right, everyone's blaming Trump. Meanwhile, Trump was completely vindicated on not being tied to Epstein at all. But these are the Epstein billionaires. The same Epstein guys that fund the Democratic Party, or Epstein funded the Democratic Party. All right, so it's that class of people that's fomenting all this shit.
See the silence, and unfortunately, they pull their punches on the issues that matter to you, for example, that you just cited, because that would mean turning against the Democratic politicians that they're trying to keep in power.
That's right. So obviously that really sucks. So they have to just turn a blind eye to this. Now, of course, the No Kings protests are actually very entertaining sometimes. This is a guy with a plane. It's flying like a little banner. Not a king. He's your daddy. Pretty based, I would say. That's pretty awesome. Love that. No kings, though. I do have to take a moment to say thanks to Trump, we have less kings. So colossal Trump W. He is taking out kings. Now, speaking of kings, we have to talk about what's going on in Europe, because the reality is it's pretty dire over there. All right, our immigration crisis is bad. Theirs is the end, all right? They are quite literally dying. They also do have a king, by the way. So Rupert Lowe, who's leading the charge against immigration in England, but also all of Europe, is taking notes, because young white men, they want this.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry, we don't need
No,
translation.
wait.
No, wait. I am not from here, and I will tell you why you're a racist.
Let me finish, all right? The NHS exists to provide the best possible care to patients. Now, some of those patients will feel more comfortable speaking in their native language.
I don't care.
Right?
I don't care. We need to have people with their native language to represent the people that they go to hospitals. They'll feel more comfortable speaking to people in native language. I don't care. This is the correct response every single time. You're a racist. Well, I don't think so, but I don't care if you do. That is the response every single time. Every time. That is how you completely destroy them, because this is an entire movement based on feelings and crying. It's an entire movement based on that faux reality where we have to make believe that we care what you think about us. We don't.
I have no interest in that.
Well, fine. Like
They should speak English.
They'll feel more comfortable being treated by someone who speaks Pakistani. Don't care. Do not care, actually. Sorry. But what if they feel uncomfortable? Don't care if they feel uncomfortable. Learn English, bitch. You're moving to England? You don't speak English? Why? That's crazy.
They live in England, they should speak English.
Doctors take an oath to give whatever patient comes to their door the best possible quality of care. That is
but they don't take an oath to learn every language on the planet.
Going to involve some translation services. When it comes to things like DEI, I'm sorry, you are picking the things which play to your base. That's your job as a politician.
Waste of money.
Waste of money. We don't care. Oh, the government should totally fund infinite Pakistani. Speaking of wasting money, a lot of people don't know this about what's going on in England. Did you know that there are special government-funded hospital wings specifically to treat inbred people because there's so much inbreeding in the Pakistan community in England? You know that 50% of Pakistanis in England are inbred. All right, I'm not talking about the 65% of inbred Pakistanis in Pakistan. In England, 50% of Pakistanis are inbred. So they have to use government funding, which is tax dollars, to fund special inbred care because of the Pakistani community. This is insanity. This is complete insanity. Now, this is the giant march against the far right. In England. All right, it's pretty insane stuff. Just like how they have the No Kings riots in America, funded by these billionaires, obviously, these George Soros type people. You have the far right rallies, totally organic, by the way, happening in Europe too. Now, this is pretty incredible because literally look at the headline. While the rally is going on, look at the headline. An Afghan asylum seeker has been jailed for raping. This is the craziest thing ever. It's like the headline on the photo talking about the anti-right-wing riots is talking about migrants raping and abducting women. Like, you cannot make this up. It is so ubiquitous right now in England that you cannot escape it. Every 54 minutes, there's a rape in London. This is not a normal statistic that you shouldn't have to live with. Now, let's take a look at the Green Party. Green is where all the leftists are going, and the Muslims too, for the large part. They always vote left because the left wants to open the border to more Muslims. That's just kind of how it works. So the Green Party activists have described Jewish people as an abomination to this planet in a string of anti-Semitic WhatsApp messages. Wow, that's so weird. I thought they were only against Zionism. It's just criticism of Israel, guys. I promise. And we're just criticizing Israel. So these are the anti-racists, just to understand. Now, I'm sure a lot of people think I'm offended by this. I'm mad. I'm not mad. I actually don't care at all. I know that when the jihadis say that they want jihad, they actually want jihad. I know that the communists, they want to kill people because they view them as colonial powers. That includes right-wingers, that includes Jews, that includes anyone that they view as colonial powers. When you have like right-wingers criticizing Jews, it's for specific details to bolster a fight and a pushback against the narrative that they don't like. When left-wingers criticize Jews, it's because they want to kill Jews. Just like how when left-wingers criticize white people, it's because they want to kill white people. It's the same around the world every single time. It's these people that hate Western civilization and want to destroy it. They hate the biblical values that our civilization is founded upon, and they want to kill us. It's actually that simple, really. So it's really nice to get an inside look on exactly the thing that we all knew it was happening behind closed doors. Now, let's take a look at this story that happened in Spain. I just talked about it at length previously, but I just think it's really important to look at this again because it's probably one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever heard. Noelia's parents got divorced. The state takes custody from the parents, sent to state youth center at age 13, gets gang raped by 3 migrants, Africans. Suspects don't face criminal charges, tries to kill herself, ends up paralyzed. The state helps by euthanizing/murdering her at 25, and it was against the wishes of her loving family. This just happened in Spain. All right, another sacrifice on the altar of diversity. Every time. Let's check in on the Christian-Muslim alliance, by the way. This is just a group of Islamists attacking the Christian town of I'm not going to read that, never, in Syria. Another instance of, Christian genocide in Syria by Islam. I was specifically told that this was the Jews, but it seems like it's not. Now, let's just understand the cultures that we're bringing into our civilizations. All right, so now we know that there's a fact. The reason why Muslim women wear hijabs is because they want to stop the temptation of men, all right? That's why it is. Because unlike in Western cultures where it's filthy and ugly, it's so filthy that women walk around without headscarves covering themselves and men are just tempted. Let's see what we're stopping Muslims from being tempted by. This might shake you to your core. In fact, the next 6 seconds of your life might radicalize the shit out of you. And I don't apologize for it. I'm trying my best. Sure. Why do you think she needs to wear a headscarf? Well, it's to stop them from being attracted to her, isn't it? So we can laugh about it all we want, but we're literally importing pedophile cultures into our countries and assuming that they're just gonna assimilate. Yeah, that's fucking insane. Meanwhile, Canada, of course, needs to be the good guy. The Canadian House of Commons has voted in a bill that makes it possible to convict people citing certain Bible passages for hate speech. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Step 1, import people from cultures with the most violent religions on the planet that openly advocate for the subjugation of every other country in the world, smiting and slitting the kafar at the neck where Christians and Jews are the lowest of creatures. Canada's all for that. No problem. Bring your holy books and your religions. We'll protect you. Meanwhile, also Canada, a Christian nation, by the way, if you quote certain, homophobic Bible passages, we will literally put you in jail forever. This is just your daily reminder that tolerance is not actually a virtue. Intolerance is a virtue. All right, now this is the greatest community note I've ever seen. Where did the Arabs take our forefathers they captured as slaves? Why don't we see black people in Arab lands like we do in the rest of the world? Community note, the Arabs cut their balls off. Now, I show that to you because I wanted to take you into what the UN has been talking about lately. It is honestly insane. Again, I fully support leaving the UN. This is insanity.
With warnings that it could open the door to Britain being hit with a reparations bill worth trillions.
They are trying to make Western nations pay reparations bill because of slavery. To all of Africa needs more of our money. Remember how they were taking trillions of our dollars and it's still a shithole there? Well, now they want more money because of slavery. You know, slaves that, let me remind you, they sold to us. All right, we as in, you know, Western civilization, we never went to Africa and captured black people to be our slaves. We bought them from black people. All right, let's just understand just for a second how this actually happened.
The UN General Assembly has passed a resolution.
Also, we abolished slavery. They are still doing it in a lot of these places, and the places that aren't doing it because we forced them to stop, because actually imperialism is based and saved so many lives.
Declaring the transatlantic slave trade the greatest crime in humanity, and calling for countries to...
Yes, slavery, the biggest crime in humanity, specifically done by Western people. Not the slaves that they still have in Islamic countries or in African countries. Those slaves, they're okay, all right?
Consider reparations, a move that critics say could have massive financial consequences for nations like the UK.
That's right. So the UK is going to have massive financial consequences to this reparations bill pushed in the UN. Let's see if the UK voted for it.
Campaigners argue that compensation for slavery and its legacy could run into the trillions of pounds.
Oh, let's go, dude. Add another couple £1 trillion. Not enough that you're bringing them into your country to rape you, but you have to send money to their country.
Figures that, if ever pursued, would dwarf government spending and place enormous pressure on public finances.
Yeah, this is fucking bullshit. Because my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather might have had slaves, all of a sudden I have to pay some random fucking retard in Africa billions of dollars? Excuse me, that's in the past. Get over it, all right? Literally grow the fuck up. Sorry that happened or something. Every culture had slaves.
The resolution back.
And there it is. So voting result in favor for reparations and shit, 123. And now let's just remember for a second how corrupt the UN is. Let's remember how corrupt the UN actually is. They voted that they get money from us. They literally have a group of a lot of people, all right? And they say, hey, we're taking a vote. Should the rich countries give money to the poor countries? And all the poor countries said, yeah. This is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity that we give these people power over us.
By more than 120 countries, is seeking what they describe as reparatory justice. Tabled by Ghana on behalf of the African Union,
Wow.
it called for Britain to begin good faith dialogue on reparatory justice, including a full formal apology, measures of restitution.
They sold them. They had slaves too. All right, I ain't apologizing for shit. Get out of here, bro.
And compensation.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Entitled shit. All right, so we got a bunch of the third world is coming together to force us to pay them infinite money because of this absolutely dog shit system.
3 countries who voted against the
All right, let's see the 3 countries. They're probably based.
resolution were Argentina, Israel, and the United States.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Based as fuck. No, we're not paying you infinite money because of a thing that happened in the past that quite literally you are just as much at fault for as we are. In fact, if we take a little look-see at the stats, all right, there's a reason why your Arabs didn't have okay, we get the idea. All right, pretty good stuff. Now, the thing is, I'm very tired of it, and the leftoids are losing their mind.
It is just a few people who have missed the golden opportunity. And I say to these countries abstaining and voting against the resolution, who are clearly in the minority, that...
Do you understand the level of corruption we need to deal with? That we have a system like this that's totally built and predicated on these shitholes controlling us? Like, do you understand what I'm talking about?
They can see that the world has left them behind. They have a second opportunity to come on board, and as we put together a framework that addresses the need for...
There is no need. There is no need for reparations from the United States to abolish slavery to shitholes in Africa because they decided to sell their people to us. Like, I am so tired of this narrative. This is garbage.
Justice, the need to...
And all the European countries didn't vote against it because they're so cucked. They are so cucked. It's unbelievable. Well, actually, slavery did happen. We should burden our people on giving trillions of dollars to these guys.
Discrimination and systemic racism.
Oh my God.
They have an opportunity to come on board, even though
every slave that was bought was also sold.
They didn't vote for the resolution. I say they missed a golden opportunity.
Golden opportunity of giving infinite more money to shitholes.
I know they will regret it.
No, they won't.
But they have a second opportunity
let's go.
To come on board and let us all work together.
Yeah, let us all work together on us getting your money. Are we understanding what's going on here?
To erect the pillars of equality.
The pillars of equality, that's beautiful.
Today the UN had a meeting.
And of course, leftist women decide, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, we need our governments to give all of our money to shitholes. I'm not even exaggerating. These people, they're retarded.
We're voting on reparations. The first question was, do you think slavery was the greatest crime against humanity? The second question was...
Obviously not. Like, obviously, Mao killing 60 million people to 100 million people was worse. Obviously, Stalin was worse. Obviously, Nazism was worse, if you think about it. I mean, they had slaves. The Holocaust had slavery, too. Right? If you think about it, they did. So the Holocaust was obviously worse. So, yeah, no one cares.
Do you think descendants of enslaved peoples deserve reparations?
Absolutely not. Who the fuck are you? Descendants of enslaved peoples? You were born just like every single one of us, and because my great-grandfather did a thing, now all of a sudden I have to pay you? Nothing happened to you. Who the fuck are you? Like, this is insane levels of entitlement.
The UN voted yes, but 52 countries abstained, and 3 said fuck no.
Based! 3 based countries said no. That's right. Absolutely. Because this is bullshit. This is some blood guilt bullshit.
I'm going to run down the list of all of the countries because I have it written down.
I don't care. I don't want to hear. Again, so this is a liberal woman who your taxes would be going to Africa, to Ghana, and all these other countries. All right, and she still supports it because of this unbelievable level of suicidal empathy. 3 countries voted against it, and that's actually based as fuck because I don't want to be held to this infinite blood guilt bullshit. The 3 countries were Argentina, the United States, and Israel. Based, actually. We're not going to cave to this army of hippie retards that are trying to destroy our civilization. The global drama is getting really crazy, actually, these days. Everyone's talking about it, it seems. So, Shuan had just made this massive video, The Truth, Why We're Actually at War. And the reality is, I got so many people telling me I needed to watch it, and I'm going to crash out and stuff. Now, I obviously disagree with Shuan on this one. I've seen her on Twitter saying how Israel's pulling all the strings and stuff. And actually, this is a war that's not to our benefit at all. I think she's wrong. And that's fine. I actually don't care about disagreeing with people, actually. I think she's reasonable, and I'm very excited to watch this video. The reason being, I always love watching alternate opinions to my own. Maybe she'll change my mind on a few things, and I'm sure we will find common ground. I am against the war lobby in the United States. I am against funding for foreign countries. I am against lobbying for foreign countries. And I am against forever wars and regime change wars that don't actually benefit us. Now, in my opinion, killing terrorists in Iran that have been trying to kill us for the last 47 years, developing weapons and shit like that, actually is in our best interest. Provided that it's a relatively quick war, we don't have boots on the ground, and it's not some endless quagmire, which in my opinion, it's going to end up being. So I'm excited to see this video. I'm excited to hear the alternates take to a lot of my opinions. And we're gonna fight. We're gonna go to war here. Literally, her comment section is flooded with people talking about me. My comment sections are flooded with people asking me to watch this. So we're gonna do it. All right, this is the thing that y'all wanted to do, and I'm excited because her videos are usually good.
So what happened? Well, a few weeks ago, our government had a "that's so Raven" premonition. They had a vision, and they saw into the future. They saw that Iran was going to attack Israel, so we went ahead and attacked Iran. Now we're in some bullshit.
I assume there will be more depth because that's not what happened.
War. No, I am not joking. That's basically what happened.
The word basically doing a lot of heavy lifting. All right, remember, this is a regime that has killed thousands of Americans, 40,000 of their own people as well, destabilized the region, threatened our allies in the Middle East, not just Israel, but literally bombed Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan, Lebanon, and also, let's not forget, have spent the last 47 years trying to develop the weaponry to kill us, and definitely will at some point, once they get the ability to kill us, they will kill us. So I fully support obliterating them while they're not actually able to fight back that much, because Israel crippled them 8 months ago. Oh, and also the little tidbit of they were actually the ones that declared war. This is a thing that a lot of people forget. They declared war on us. They also tried to assassinate Trump twice. No, this is actually based as fuck.
Despite the Pentagon...
Provided it doesn't become a boots on the ground, massive, infinite, forever war. All right? And if that happens, I take it back. I disagree with that completely. That's why I hate the war lobby in the United States. That's why people like Lindsey Graham are begging for a boots on the ground. I don't want that. Absolutely not. I just want to go there, fucking kill them from a distance, from the air and from the sea, kill some terrorists. That's awesome. Cripple them, send them back to the Stone Ages, and hopefully their people can actually rebel and pick up the pieces of their government. That's not on us.
On saying there was no proof Iran was going to attack, it came to us in a...
All right. Humreya Pamuk, who wrote the article, there is definite proof that they were going to attack. The question wasn't if they were going to attack. The question is when they were going to attack. You know, they directly stated to us that they were going to attack. They told us they were enriching uranium to 60% and had enough uranium to build 11 nuclear bombs. They told that to us a week before the war started. They were inevitably going to attack. They chant death to America in their parliament every day as part of their, you know, national discussion. The question wasn't if, the question was when. But anyway, I'm going to let her speak. I'm also always interested in hearing alternate opinions. It's always fun because I think they're all wrong on this one. And I think that a lot of people fell for like the infinite internet sludge psyop.
A dream. Source, we made it the f*** up. Now, there are many reasons floating around for this war.
All right,
Israel, China, Russia, oil, Iran being 2 weeks away from having a nuclear bomb for the past 40 years.
True. And if you think about it, they were close multiple times and we kept stopping them, actually.
Bringing democracy to Iran.
No one's saying that. All right, anyone that's saying that is lying. That's not part of the agenda. Well, we would love if the Iranian people rise up, but no one is fucking saying that we are there to instill democracy.
And many other things, and we can discuss those things.
All right,
maybe it's all those things at the same time. But there is one thing I feel is just not getting enough attention. And that is the many...
Yeah, Israel.
People in our government who believe in a literal doomsday prophecy about this war and are possibly pushing our president to take the necessary steps to make it happen.
Israel.
No, I am not joking. No, this is not a conspiracy theory.
Is this going on like a total other direction that I was ever expecting? Holy shit, did she pull a fast one on me?
It's not the Candace Owens channel. This is a real thing, and we gotta talk about it. Now, I know I keep saying the next video is going to be a slop video. I know, I'm sorry, but things just keep happening. But that's okay.
Look, man, all I know is I've been getting so much shit thrown at me saying, Nux has to react to this one because he reacts to other shoe-on-head videos. There's no way he's gonna... So
over quick, and then we can get to the more important issues, like making fun of women on TikTok.
Oh, the good old days. Love that.
So in this video, we will talk about this f***ass war. We will discuss these strange characters who are encouraging it, the doomsday cult they belong to, and I will crash out a little bit.
The Jews, we never talk about the Jews. I've just noticed that the Jews really don't get a lot of people talking about them. They're a small percent of the population, and for some reason, everyone just keeps ignoring Jews. Man, I hope Shuanhead shouts them out this video. That's probably going to happen at some point, man. I hope so. It's wild, man, because, you know, like, for all the millions killed by Muslims over the years, I feel like we really don't talk about how the Jews defended themselves a couple of times.
Of the special 2-week military operation, everybody.
All right. Did anyone say this was going to be 2 weeks? Man, I probably said that at some point. But it's not going to be a forever war.
Did it! Mission accomplished. I feel like every day I wake up and Trump is like, we won. And then something else blows up. And then again, he's like, we won. And then we're back at war. But it's...
She's just reading Nuxanor video titles.
Not a war, but we won the war. Hey, maybe...
This is not a war. It's a side quest. It's a special operation. See, that's one thing that I completely disagree with, like, the Trump regime about. They keep calling it a special operation, not a war. It's absolutely a war, all right? Don't be scared to say the W word. Of course it's a war. Hopefully it's just a really quick and effective war. We don't have boots on the ground in a quagmire for 10 years.
It will be over by the time this video uploads because apparently Iran wants to talk to JD Vance. JD Vance is apparently the peacemaker here.
I mean, we all know exactly why this is happening if we're actually paying attention. So if you want to hear the real conspiracies, you're in the right place. J.D. Vance is a close friend of Peter Thiel and Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is like this big isolationist, anti-intervention guy, it seems, while he's being paid by Iranian billionaires. That is a true thing that happened after he was fired from Fox News. J.D. Vance's son, Buckley Carson, is Tucker Carlson's son, Buckley Carson, is working directly for J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance and Tucker Carlson are both really close friends with Peter Thiel, the guy who owns Palantir. So what they are doing here is they are setting up J.D. Vance to be this isolationist peace guy so that when he runs for president, he could say that he was always against the Iran war, he was the peacemaker, and he and Tucker Carlson and that group of the right wing is actually trying to take over. That's why this is happening. It's very obvious, actually, if you pay attention. That Joe Kent, also a friend of Peter Thiel, leaves the Department of Counterterrorism to go on Tucker Carlson's podcast to say that the Iran war is bad. If you actually pay attention to the missing pieces and the moving parts and you watch Nuxanor, you're actually very informed on what's actually going on in the world.
Imagine the Iran war. Imagine possible World War III.
It's not World War III. Everyone needs to calm the fuck down. I keep seeing people say, where's the World War III? Wake me up when World War III happens, okay? Like, dude. Iran got obliterated in like 3 days. We're cleaning shit up to make sure that they can't rebuild right now. That's what's going on.
In the hands of a shoe-on head fan. We're all gonna die.
Shoe-on head. He is watching your video now. Tell him to deport Ilhan Omar.
People word for word, bar for bar, repeating the NPC talking points that we heard during the Iraq War. This Middle Eastern country is building weapons of mass destruction.
They literally were, according to the United Nations and the IAEA, all right? Like, there is no... And they admitted it themselves. We don't need to go that far. They admitted it themselves. They had 60% enriched uranium.
They hate America. We're gonna bring them democracy.
No one's saying that.
It's all the same shit. It's all the same people.
It's literally not the same shit. See, I was actually very against the Iraq war myself. I think that it was a massive shithole. Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have put boots on the ground. Shouldn't have taken as long as we did. What a nightmare. What a tragedy. And to be honest, I haven't even heard these talking points being said. I've been following this very closely, and these talking points that she's mentioning, I really haven't heard anyone say that except for the critics, right? I hear a lot of like podcast bros being like, "Whoa, they said that it's just like the Iraq War." I've heard that said a lot, but I really haven't heard these talking points said by like, any politicians at all.
People pushing for this shit. Only this time we have social media, and we are seeing war propaganda from all sides being debunked right in front of our eyes.
True.
Social media has
awesome.
like truly been the worst thing that has ever happened to the government.
Straight facts, bro. The moment you have social media and people are like, wait a second, hold up. There are Pakistani rape gangs all over England. It's like, okay, all right, dude, it's over.
Imagine like getting away with decades and decades of propaganda now being debunked in real time.
Elon Musk buying Twitter saved the world. Not even lying.
By people called like pee poo poo 69.
Bro.
Brutal. Sorry, I have to like white balance my camera. I'm using... It's story time. I'm gonna be the new Miss Rachel. Nice. Today's number is 7, and we're gonna talk about Tower 7. Oh. Anyway, I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh, I hope Iran wins.
Bitch.
That's like, I saw people saying that. Like, that is psychotic.
There it is. Yeah, the Sneakos, the Nick Fuenteses, the Tucker Carlsons praying, the HASAN Pikers praying for Iran's victory.
I want to go down with the USS Great Satan. You know what I mean? Like, if we're in a war, I want to win the war. Like, I just don't understand.
I really appreciate this this middle class of person. I really have to say that I appreciate that we can have nuanced debates about this without going full jihad. I think that's awesome. All right, you don't have to hate America to be anti-war.
And why there has to be a war. We know regime change doesn't f***ing work. We've tried this already. It never f***ing works. We always make shit worse. We're not the world police. There are so many people all over the world suffering.
Again, no, the argument for this was never regime change. Now, regime change would be great, actually, because this regime has been committing terrorism throughout the entire world for 47 years. So regime change would be great, but that was never one of the major objectives. So I really like the muddying the water is not a good sign.
But our priority as America is to take care of Americans.
Totally agree, which is why we should kill terrorists that have killed thousands of Americans.
And the American people are suffering. And now we're asking for $200 billion for war. $200 billion. Notice nobody's...
Yeah, and there was more fraud than that in California alone. U.S. aid spent that much combating sexually transmitted butt diseases in Afghanistan. And propping up LGBT opera in Somalia. Just a reminder, we've spent like double that on the Ukraine war, which actually doesn't benefit us at all.
Is like, who's gonna pay for that when it's shit like war, but when it's for your mom's diabetes medication, it's pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
You do realize that diabetes medication is way cheaper now under Trump because of Trump RX, right?
$200 billion while American situations have not gotten any better. In fact, they're just going to get worse now.
Look, if I just gave a list of look, I don't like giving $200 billion to war and the military and stuff, but I like where that's going a lot more where all the other $200 billion are going, which includes fraud, the USAID, all the government-funded schools that are promoting all the LGBT shit, all right, way more than all the government funding of different media broadcasting stations like CNN and MSNBC and all these other places which get government funding, which is our taxpayer funding. I would trade in every leering center on the planet for a few more dead Ayatollahs. This is not even exaggerating.
Everything is going to get more expensive, but that's okay, apparently. That's okay. That's not a concern.
Things are going to get more expensive for a month, and then it's going to drop that right back down. All right, it's not going to all get more expensive forever. All right, under Biden and this global economy shit, pushing for protecting the environment, things got way more expensive, way faster.
Economy is fundamentally sound, and that if it were to be extended, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, if that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's like really the last of our concerns right now.
Consumers.
Oh, shit.
Consumers. That's what we are to these people.
That's
just
brutal.
good little obedient bug people.
True.
Gonna go see a Marvel movie.
That's right.
Maybe buy a Labubu. Eat a little Dubai chocolate. We have no soul, no lives, no families to take care of. We are just consumed. And when we can't take care of those families, you know what their solution is? What's their solution? Take fewer trips to Starbucks.
Bro. That's brutal.
If I say what I am thinking, I will be banned off YouTube, so I will simply be silent. Gas
relatable.
is gonna be like $1 billion, but that's—
Can we chill the fuck out, please? Gas was like higher under Biden for like 4 years than it is now during a war with Iran. Like, are we being serious, dude?
It's okay, guys. Short-term pain, long-term gain.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain.
I mean, this is a reasonable position, I guess, if it's true.
For long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain.
Short-term pain.
God, I fucking hate propaganda.
For American consumers.
Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term.
Can I hit you with the truth, Nuke? And this is going to be very real. At some point, if Iran is left alone, they will develop nukes. They will develop more ballistic missiles. They will actually become powerful, as opposed to now, where they are weak as fuck, which is why we're killing them now. The reality is, the moment that happens, the moment that they actually become a threat, and they actually have firepower, the Strait of Hormuz, which is the reason why this is all the oil prices and gas prices are going up, is because the Strait of Hormuz is being, basically, they're blocking it off with mines and shit, would be absolutely under their control to blackmail the entire world forever. And we would not be able to do anything about it. The moment they get their hands on a nuke or a ballistic missile system that we're not able to combat against, they will have the entire world energy in the palm of their hands. And they are an actual apocalyptic terrorist, radical Islamic regime that would do that because their goal is annihilating us. So yes, short-term pain means bumping the oil prices for a month, as opposed to long-term gain, which is the rest of the world and the rest of human history with a nuclear-armed Iran that could forever blackmail us by shutting off the Strait of Hormuz without us being able to do anything about it, because the moment they get nukes, they become untouchable. So yes, this is very reasonable, actually.
Pain for the long-term gain.
What in the NPCS is this?
I do agree, though, that I absolutely fucking hate the mainstream media repeating the same NPC talking points again and again.
It is your patriotic American duty to unplug the TVs in your parents' and grandparents' house right now.
True. You see, I don't want our money getting funded to go to these news corporations.
Destroy their satellite dishes. Log them out of Facebook. It is up to us to stop the boomers from sending the Zoomers to another war in the Middle East. The amount of people who were
You do realize more people were killed in Chicago over the last 2 weeks than by Iran. Like, you realize that, right?
Anti-regime change war, like
this whole narrative, we're sending our sons and daughters to die for Israel, is like, insane levels of cope.
Thursday who have completely 180'd is fucking insane. I literally have no theory of mind for being that hyper partisan brained. Like, a lot of these people are just like totally for this now because it's Trump doing it. Some of you—
No, I'm totally for this because we're not having boots on the ground on a 10-year-long excursion into the Middle East where we lose thousands of people. I'm totally for this because we're obliterating an actual threat to us with taking, you know, obviously it's a war and people die and it's a tragedy, but with taking as minimal risk as we possibly can. Because every day we would have waited would have made Iran stronger and a bigger threat to deal with later, and we would have inevitably had to fight them. So I think fighting them when they're at their weakest is based as fuck. Sorry.
You are cattle. Some of you are weak. You are submissive and breedable. The only politician I simp for is Huey Long, and that's because he's dead and can't disappoint me. The worst part about this whole war thing is not the death and destruction and possible economic collapse and nuclear fallout, but the fact that it's good for the Democrats. They will probably win midterms, and if things get worse, they will probably win 2028 too. Without learning any lesson, without changing at all.
I mean, their entire policy is import the third world into our country and steal votes to win elections. So I feel like they haven't learned anything.
Will literally run on Orange Man bad and win. I am tired of politics. I am tired of voting. Take away the 19th Amendment. I don't want it. I don't want it. You can—
God. Every time I think Sean had lost me, she pulls me back in. Every time I feel like she went too far, oh, just brings me right back in.
Men can have it. The men can deal with it. I'm done. I'm tired of voting for pee-pee or poo-poo and always getting diarrhea. I'm done. The end.
A wordsmith. A modern Shakespeare.
Sorry. Mommy's not mad. She's just disappointed. Anyway, like I said, there are many stated reasons behind this war. One of the things people blame this war on a lot is Israel. Many people believe that Iran was not an immediate threat to us, and that
they were a threat to us. I love how people like throw in the word immediate because everyone knows that Iran at some point would be a threat to us. So they always throw in imminent, or they weren't an imminent threat. They weren't an immediate threat. They throw that word in to derail the conversation. First of all, they had weapons that could target our bases throughout the Middle East. Why are our bases there altogether? Valid question. We're not getting into that now. So whether they are imminent or not, I don't even care. My position was never that they were an imminent threat. I don't actually give a fuck if they're an imminent threat. I think they're an inevitable threat, so we should deal with them while they're weak. That's my position.
This is just another conflict that Israel is dragging us into.
What do you mean another conflict that Israel dragged us into? What other conflicts did Israel drag us into? Like, these are very, very popular talking points that are unsubstantiated. Because what people forget is that Israel lobbied us against going to war in Iraq. The Iraq war happened because the CIA and the MI6 decided that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. And they had eyewitnesses, which were Arabs from Iraq, that told them this. All right? That's why they went to war. Israel was against war in Iraq. And even at the time said, whoa, we should not be going to war in Iraq. It'll destabilize the region. We should go to war with Iran. They're the actual threats. They were right. Israel was actually right about that. The reality is, Israel was against the war in Iraq. So what is this another war narrative?
Making us fight their war for them. Because of this and everything that's happened
it's not for them. Israel's quite literally fighting alongside us there.
Gaza, Israel's PR is in the toilet. Polls are showing Israel is becoming extremely unpopular, especially with young people. It's getting so bad that the Israeli government literally had to pay internet influencers to say good things about them.
Damn,
no, I'm not kidding. This is a real thing that happened. It was filed with the U.S.
Bro, we gotta get Israel to start paying me. I'm just saying. Once I'm getting attacked from all sides for saying killing terrorists is a good thing, actually, I should totally get paid for it.
Department of Justice.
Instead, I could just get demonetized videos for calling the leader of England a faggot.
They undisclosed paid a bunch of YouTubers, TikTokers, Twitter personalities.
It should be illegal, by the way. It should totally be illegal for I think it is actually illegal for foreign governments to pay people to basically lobby for them, and they're sponsored and they don't disclose it. That should totally be illegal.
To run defense for them last year, and they are most likely still doing that today. Imagine losing the internet PR war to 20-year-olds with anime avatars making TikTok edits of Jeffrey Epstein and Agartha.
True.
And listen, I know many people are tired of everybody blaming Israel for everything. Like, oh, I stubbed my toe this morning.
Please, they've been doing that for a long time. Yeah, tired of it. What are you talking about?
It was Israel.
Look, man, the moment Israel killed Charlie Kirk became a public narrative, I was just like, yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. People just believe anything.
associate criticism of Israel with people like HASAN, PIKER.
And it's so sad because there really is valid criticism of Israel. Like the whole idea of funding foreign influencers to propaganda shit and trying to silence free speech and stuff, because Israel would totally do that if they could. I think that's totally valid criticism of Israel. I think that's completely unacceptable. I also don't want to be funding them every year, giving them billions of dollars. I don't like foreign funding in general. So there really is valid criticism, and a lot of that just ends up into like this infinite slop of Israel gets us into infinite wars. And yeah, we know Hassan PIKER supports the terrorists that want to genocide the Jews. We get it.
Or Candace Owens. They are just tired.
Yeah, Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Yeah, absolutely. That's the Candace Owens train. Israel is working together with Sumerian time travelers to kill Charlie Kirk. And people were like, you know what? I don't know about the Sumerian time travelers, but she's onto something with Israel.
And I get it. Hopefully I can bring some nuance
Totally, Israel killed their #1 supporter.
This discussion.
Right,
not
I'm excited.
everything
Let's
is
go.
Israel's fault, but
that's ridiculous. We all know that's not true.
When it comes to the Middle East in particular, when it comes to American foreign policy, Israel is extremely relevant. This is a historical fact, and if we are going to be attached to the hip,
Israel has a powerful lobby. Not the most powerful lobby, but a powerful lobby for sure.
To this country.
And I don't think we should have any lobbying for foreign governments.
We should absolutely be allowed to talk about it without a bitch in our ear calling it anti-Semitism. It is 20.
True. God, I fucking hate that so much. I hate that so much. You see some guy, some Jewish dude crying about anti-Semitism when they're criticizing Israel. It is the most insufferable shit in the world. It's like saying that crime statistics are racist. It's the crime statistics are racist equivalent for Jews, and it's so annoying whenever I see it. Now, a lot of people that criticize Israel actually do want to kill all the Jews, all right? Like, Hassan PIKER, the people that support the Islamic terror organizations, those guys actually want to kill Jews. And the waters get so muddied by all these, like, especially, like, the woke Jews, like the ADL and all these fucking, the Anti-Defamation League and AIPAC crying every 2 seconds about something else. It's, like, actually insufferable. It really is. I hate it.
26. We are done with the thought-terminating buzzwords.
True.
We are done with the ists and the isms.
Right.
These don't work anymore. It's not racist to criticize Black Lives Matter. It's not sexist to criticize feminism. It is not anti-Semitic to criticize a foreign country.
True.
And frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing you can do for Jewish people right now is conflate the nation of Israel with Jewish people as a whole. Like, what are you doing? Oh, you don't want the world to end in some kind of nuclear holocaust? What are you? An anti-Semite? It's like when there's legislation to give pedophiles the death penalty and people come out like, this is transphobic. It's like, what do you mean by that? It's good to question mainstream narratives. That's why this entire channel was created in the first place. We are here to criticize the media and the government.
Look, I'm all for criticizing Israel when they deserve it. Absolutely. It's just actually killing terrorists is awesome.
Government that has a history of lying to us, especially on topics like this. If you don't think that's totally valid and normal, and you think I'm an anti-Semite for this, well, I have been called racist.
Well, I don't care is the correct response. All right, if someone calls you, dude, I've been called an anti-Semite. Not even kidding. It's brutal out there, man. It's brutal. I feel bad for the Goyim. I'm not gonna lie. The Goyim are suffering. The Goyim are struggling today. Oh my God, brutal. But no, but the issue is there obviously is a rising amount of anti-Semitism. Real anti-Semitism. Like they blew up a couple of private-owned Jewish ambulances in England. They murdered a couple of Jews in England. They firebombed Jews in Colorado. They shot Jews in Washington, D.C. All right, Jews got stabbed in New York. All right, you got cars ramming into synagogues full of explosives in Michigan. Like, this happens every day all over the place. That's real anti-Semitism. And it gets watered down by the endless sludge of fake anti-Semitism, which is, I actually disagree with the democratic country of Israel's election of Benjamin Netanyahu. That's not anti-Semitism.
Sexist, homophobic, transphobic for the past 15 years. Honestly, what is one more to add to the list? When this all initially popped off, one of my first tweets about this was this. Many people were confused as to exactly what I was talking about, so let me explain it simply. There are people—
Oh boy, are we getting into theology?
People in our government right now who believe in a biblical prophecy about Israel. Pete Hegseth, Lindsey Graham, Mike Pompeo, Ted Cruz, Mike Johnson, Mike Huckabee, and many, many others believe a massive war surrounding—
Those guys aren't Jews. Hold up. Oh my God, she's gonna go on the evangelical Christian rant. That's brutal.
The Middle East will bring Jesus Christ back. They want this. To them, this is the good ending. We'll all be saved. Great. Awesome. Unfortunately, many Americans and many people all around the world will die in a giant nuclear war. Not great.
Wait. Is that part of the prophecy? Hold up.
bad even. This particular religion is called dispensationalism, a type of evangelical Christianity that became popular in the 20th century. That's right, today we are talking about the EQ, the evangelical question. Evangelicals are one of
There's no way she's gonna make a whole video about Israel and not talk about the Jews. She actually might do it.
The largest religious groups in America, and they are a huge important.
And let me just say it, just from the get-go, evangelical Christians are fucking awesome. They're great people. I have not met a single evangelical Christian that I didn't like. They're all great people. I have to say, sorry to just stop you right there, but they're just like the nicest people out there. Obviously, there's a lot of really, I'm sure there are bad ones. There's bad people in every group. But I just had such a fantastic impression of evangelical Christians.
Voter block. Important detail to remember. What you have to understand is evangelical Christianity is absolutely fucking obsessed with the end times. This isn't just like an offhand thing that's
all right, here we go. We got a lore dive in here.
Mentioned in the Bible and they bring up sometimes. No, this is like their whole fucking thing. It's like all their talks, their sermons, their books. Basically, they are extremely horny for the end of the world. And many of those people are in the president's ear right now.
Strike and strike and strike.
I think it's the biggest group of Christians in America, I'm pretty sure. Protestants. Look, man, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best here. I'm sure I'm gonna get details wrong.
Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike. For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now.
Listen, I don't know if this is an evangelical issue or if it's a woman problem, but I'm not gonna finish this end.
Hamanda ata ata raka te de baka sanda ata ambo osa kata rite eke banda ata rite.
That schizo is Paula White Cain, Trump's current spiritual advisor.
Bro. A woman? I'm sorry, that's not the criticism here.
Like most evangelicals, she considers Israel her spiritual home, thinks Christians should be mandated to go to Israel in order to go to heaven, and believes that backing Israel is a biblical mandate. Now, what the f am I talking about? What do these people mean by biblical mandate?
Whip out the book.
Well, thanks to the Scofield Bible, a version of the Bible that placed little, like, notes next to everything that explained the biblical text, evangelicals believe it is their duty to
Pretty sure Scofield Bible, it's a translation of the Bible, and it has a couple of nuanced differences. Like, I remember watching this whole video that was just completely debunked about how the Scofield Bible was Jewified and stuff, but that's not true. That's not true. It has definitely different emphases on things, but it was produced and made by Christians. It was not Jewified.
Protect Israel. You're probably thinking like, okay, so what? Like, we have overlapping interests with Israel. Who cares if these evangelicals want to protect Israel, right? Well, there's a little more to it.
All right, let's go.
Basically, the evangelical dispensationalist belief goes like this. Step 1. The Jewish people return to the land of Israel. Step 2. Israel becomes the main character in a massive war.
Wait, is this true? Is this actually true? Bro, literally, people in the comments need to help me with this one.
Step 3. Global destruction called the tribulation occurs. Step 4. Armageddon happens. And step 5. Jesus Christ returns.
Okay, just to be clear, I don't know if that means they're trying to make Armageddon happen, or if that's just like an inevitable thing that happens according to this prophecy.
Where I've been, but it's okay, I know Jesus is coming back. Jesus is coming back.
Behold, the fruits of Martin Luther. To get my biases out of the way a little bit, I was born and raised Catholic. Baptized, communion, confirmation, catechism class for years, all that stuff. I stopped caring for a while and had like a edgy atheist stage as a teenager. Then I was agnostic for a while, and then in 2020, when I moved back home during COVID, I returned to Catholicism. Needless to say, I am comfortable with identifying as Catholic again today.
Based, let's go. Our people need to start going to make going to church. Based again, it needs to happen. We got to bring people back to God. I think that's step 1. Based, chew on head.
I don't talk about this shit because it's not relevant, but it's relevant here. I have many Protestant friends, a few are evangelical. This isn't to like hate on them, even though I'm gonna be making jokes, but it's just to shine a light on a heavy bias some people in power may have towards the Middle East. If a bunch of Catholics were in power pushing for us to go to war for the Vatican or something, that would also be a conversation worth having.
Okay.
But that is not happening right now. And if you're wondering why Ted Cruz suddenly out of nowhere is sharing like 10,000 word AI slop Twitter essays about how Catholics are parasites, it's because he's butthurt that Catholics don't believe in the same doomsday prophecy about Israel as him and other...
Bro, did I just accidentally stumble into like Christian civil war? Look, man, I just want to talk about I just want to talk about killing Ayatollahs, okay? Oh my god, I didn't even know like half of this was happening.
Evangelicals do. Catholics are not religiously obligated to support Israel. Same with...
From my understanding, look, man, I do my research and my lore dives. From my understanding, Israel it's the name of a person that existed in the Bible, right? Jacob, also named Israel, for wrestling with an angel and stuff like that. And over time, eventually, the children of Israel inherited the land called Israel. Ultimately, it comes down to, after Jesus Christ, from what I understand, Israel then became a spiritual thing as opposed to the physical land. So from my understanding, according to Catholicism, Israel is just the church. And according to evangelical Christianity, Israel is still the land. The land is inherently holy. I'm probably wrong. That's my understanding of it.
Orthodox and honestly, most branches of Christianity. Evangelical Protestants, on the other hand, don't know how to fucking read and think the modern state of Israel is the same Israel mentioned in the Bible.
Well, my understanding is it's the same land, literally. So if the land is inherently holy, it doesn't matter what name it has. That's why the Crusades went to go take the Holy Land. As far as I understand, the land remained holy. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that it was a state established that has the name Israel. I could be wrong again, but that's my understanding of it.
This would be like the fry cook at McDonald's being named Jesus and you falling to your knees and worshiping him as the savior.
Except that it was not the same guy, whereas this is literally the same land. Look, I'm trying my best here.
And then blowing up the world for him.
I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Right.
And I've
No one should be in government with their stated goal being defending a foreign country, period. The number one goal of every single person in the government should be defending our country, period. The end. No caveats, no exceptions. You could like Israel, you could think that Israel's great and Israel's fighting our battles and Israel's our ally against radical Islam. You can believe whatever you want, all right? But the goal should be America, period. And that goes for every country, all right? That's Ilhan Omar with Somalia too. Same idea, unacceptable.
worked every day to do that. Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed.
Pretty sure it's those who bless, like the children of Abraham will be blessed. I think that's the actual verse. I don't think he actually sang a real verse here, but yeah.
Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
well, hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel.
To think all of this could have been avoided if we simply named Israel Sand, New Jersey.
Damn, that would be awesome. But again, not trying to be controversial or anything. And I'm not an evangelical Christian, so I'm not going to sit here and make believe that I am fully understanding everything that's happening here. Ted Cruz never said that because the country was named Israel in 1948 that they're defending it. It's because this is literally the land that was Israel, quite literally, 2,000 years ago. It was called Israel. It's the same holy land with the Jewish people in it, you know?
Dispensationalists take the Bible extremely literally. They're basically like the autism of Christianity, which is why so many Protestant evangelicals in our government are Zionists. Now, let's discuss the word Zionist, because I know that word makes some of you cringe, and I don't blame you, because it's
true. So I'll actually, all right, dude, whatever. I'll tell you my personal thing after.
Kind of just thrown around so haphazardly today. It basically means nothing anymore. There are Zionists of all races and religions. Not all Jewish people are Zionists. Not all Zionists are Jewish. Most Zionists in our government are not Jewish. So don't let them ever guilt trip you into thinking you're anti-Semitic for criticizing people like Ted Cruz. Also, it's not anti-Semitic to criticize the Jewish people in our government either, like Randy Fine. Bro is a freak. There is a reason the first time I shook Netanyahu's hand, I did not wash it until I could touch the heads of my children.
That's the worst tweet I've ever seen in my life. Randy Fine is based as fuck in domestic policy. He is a nightmare on foreign policy. All right, this dude, I am not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. This dude made the tweet, if I had to choose between Muslims and dogs, I would pick dogs. Bro, dropped that tweet right after some Palestinian activist in New York was trying to ban dogs. Dro dropped the nuclear take of immigration without assimilation is invasion. Based as fuck. On domestic policy, he's fire. On foreign policy, nightmare shit.
What the fuck? Anyway, contrary to popular belief...
See, but here's the thing. Netanyahu... Look, whatever. No one cares about my personal biases. I'm not like a huge Netanyahu fan. I'm really not. In fact, as far as the government of Israel, I have a lot of feelings towards it. Some very negative. Way too socialist for my taste, for example. They still allow abortions. What are you doing? Although I definitely have that issue here as well. So no, I don't think that the government of Israel is inherently holy or anything like that. And criticizing it is completely and utterly valid. The issue with Zionism is that word has morphed so much over the years. Some people view Zionism as like some religious term that you view the actual government of Israel as holy, which I don't. I do, however, like the country of Israel. I do believe that the land is holy. In some regard, I also recognize that it's a foreign country that we should not be giving our money to and not be going to war for, which we don't. We do give our money, but we don't go to war for them.
Zionism does not mean when you, like, passively support Israel as, like, a good ally to have in the Middle East.
See, but the thing is, HASAN PIKER would say that passively supporting Israel as a good ally to have is Zionism. That's the issue. The issue is, that word became so broad.
That is not what being a Zionist is. It's like a whole ideology. It's like a movement. Now, one of the major characters who believes in this, like, doomsday lore anime is Lindsey Graham. If you don't know who Lindsey Graham...
This dude wants to go to war every day. See, but the thing is, like, when it's a war I agree with, he's based. When it's a war I disagree with, I hate the guy. That's the issue, man.
Is you've probably seen him on Fox News a few times. He's been on...
Dude, that dude's everywhere. Bro pops on Fox News. Ayatollah, we're gonna fucking kill you. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, infinite war in Iraq. And I'm like, whoa, stop.
Like, every single night the past 3 weeks. To make it short, he is the senator of South Carolina. And he is a notorious neocon war hawk. He has never met a war he didn't like. He is basically the real-life version of the Holden Blood Feast meme. That is Lindsey Graham. So Lindsey, girl's name by the way, believes that defending Israel is God's will and has said things like,
if America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us.
And I wouldn't blame anybody if they assumed he was the senator of Tel Aviv and not the senator of South Carolina. When his own state was hit with a massive hurricane, bro said this.
God bless you, but look, you know, I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends.
Bro, the man even that's brutal. Oh my God. If I saw my senator say that, I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind.
Right, says he would support a foreign country over the citizens of America.
All the anti-Semites to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
The anti-Semites and the isolationists? The isolation... Saying you aren't with Americans and are with a foreign country is so fucking insane for a United States politician to say. How is this guy still in...
Did people think I was going to disagree with this video? I don't understand. Like, I disagree with their take that we shouldn't kill Ayatollahs. I think that's awesome, actually. But did people think I was going to be, like, super mad about this? I totally agree with her. Every single American politician should have Americans' interest #1, period. And there really shouldn't be a #2. And that's my opinion. Just like I think that Israel should absolutely do its absolute best to defend itself in any way. And I don't actually give a shit about what the UN tells Israel, just like I don't care what the UN tells us. I'm a very simple man. I'm a very, very simple man. I think that every single government's goal should be to protect its own country. So when England imports infinite Pakistanis, I think that that's fucking brutal to their own people, and it's traitorous.
Office. This is like borderline treasonous.
Israel and the United States, you just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks.
The next 2 weeks meaning what?
We're going to blow the
rigged.
hell out of these people.
Oh
I'm sorry.
God. Oh my
We're gonna
God.
what? It's not war if the balls don't touch. Okay, so Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz are weird, American last freaks who believe this doomsday shit.
I mean, I don't think that they're America last per se. I think that they believe that America is going to help in their, if you want to call it a doomsday prophecy. I don't know, man. But the reality is, I think it's totally unacceptable for our politicians to talk like this.
But like, who cares, right? There's a bunch of those guys. Like, who gives a f what they believe? Well, here's the issue. Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham might be the little birdies in Trump's ear pushing us to do this war.
I urged the president to launch this attack. As you noted, I was with him pretty much
If you think Trump, the guy who ran on no new long wars, all right, that guy, all right, if you think he was convinced by a couple of guys, you are retarded. That dude has all sorts of people in his ear, begging him to do all sorts of things. That dude does things that he wants. He has been promising this war for 40 years. Donald Trump, for the last 40 years, constantly talking, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. He talks about it every single time he possibly can. Right? They tried to assassinate him twice. Trump wanted this war with Iran, and he's been saying it vocally for 40 years. Even when he was against the Iraq war, he said we need to blow up Iran. I'm not exaggerating.
Entire day on Friday before the attack launched on Saturday. Pretty much the whole time he was asking me what I thought we should do on Iran.
And Lindsey Graham apparently...
Trump asks everyone their opinion on everything. Bill Maher, notorious libtard anti-Trump guy, was asked his opinions by Trump on what Trump should do. All right, so this is not indicative of anything.
He had direct contact with Netanyahu. To help make the case on Iran, Graham traveled several times to Israel in recent weeks, meeting with members of the country's intelligence agency. They'll tell me things our own government won't tell me, he said. He spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, coaching him on how to lobby the president for action. Netanyahu showed the president intelligence that persuaded Trump to go ahead, Graham said. Ah yes, Netanyahu, someone we should definitely listen to when it comes to this subject.
Yeah,
there is no question.
He is probably not biased at all.
Whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question.
Yep.
That Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. Yeah. No question whatsoever.
No question.
No question whatsoever.
Yeah, so this interview with Bibi specifically, I'm having technical issues on my side. This interview with Bibi specifically was after the United States already decided to go to war with Iraq. This is confirmed, all right? If you look at the actual timeline of when Bibi went there to talk about that. Actively, it is public knowledge that Israel lobbied us against going to this war. All right, Israel warned us against Iraq invasion, U.S. official says. Chief of Staff, former Secretary of State reveals that a large number of senior Israeli officials warned Bush administration the invasion of Iraq would be destabilizing to the region. The Israelis were telling us Iraq is not the enemy, Iran is the enemy. The reality is, after it was decided that we were going to war based on British and American intelligence, okay, Israel talked about what they knew and gave us all of the intelligence that they actually had in the region. That is not the same thing. God, this narrative of Israel going to draw us into another war is based on absolutely fucking nothing. And it's so frustrating because you could absolutely criticize Israel, but maybe focus on criticizing Israel for things that it actually did do.
I literally warned about this happened. Like months ago, I literally warned the administration, keep away from Lindsey Graham. Trump, listen to me. Wait, Trump doesn't watch this shit. Vance, listen to me. Get people like Lindsey Graham far away from anyone in power right now. This little Venezuela stunt was cute, but we are not touching any other country. We are not touching the Middle East, especially. No more Middle East. We all...
Bro, Trump has literally lobbied on Iran is not going to have a nuclear weapon. That's like the thing he keeps saying all the time. It's one of his favorite lines. One of his favorite lines is Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. He's been saying this for 40 years.
All have Middle East fatigue. I just need to say, I don't like being correct about this stuff. I would rather be wrong. I would love nothing
I like being correct
more than to be f***ing wrong about everything. If we don't put boots on the ground, if we don't create a new forever war, that would be the best thing ever. You can
totally agree. Literally, that's what I've been saying the entire time. And you know what? I wager we won't. I wager this will not be a forever war.
Come back to this video and say, na boo boo, you were wrong. And
holy shit, this is gonna be the telltale moment. Am I right? It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be a forever war. Or is she right? It will be boots on the ground. It will be a forever war. Ultimately, this is what it comes down to. Was I right or was she right? And whatever ends up happening will totally vindicate one of us.
I would be like, hell yeah. Fantastic. That would be wonderful. I will personally write a handwritten letter apologizing to Cat Turd for not trusting the plan. I don't know what the is going to happen. All I know is I saw a commercial for the military with white men in it. So,
Holy
not
shit.
a good sign. And right now, as I am making this video, our good friend Lindsey Graham is talking about putting boots on the ground.
Here's what I tell
Dude, this guy, he's a war guy.
President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Carg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil. Control that island. Let this regime die on a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Carg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground?
We did Iwo Jima. We can do this.
We did Iwo Jima. We can do this.
Bro.
What the f? For those unaware.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. When Lindsey Graham just loves war. He loves war. He's like the fucking, he's like the Helsing villain.
Iwo Jima was one of the most brutal battles of World War II. About as many Americans died in that battle than all of the Iraq and Afghanistan war combined. This guy's a f***ing freak, dude. Also, who the f*** is we? We? You enlisting, Lindsey Graham? Bitch.
Well, we have the best chance in 2,000 years when Iran is neutralized.
I'm sorry, I thought this war started in 1979 when the Iranian Revolution overthrew the puppet government we installed in the 1950s. But I guess I was wrong. This war actually started 2,000 years ago.
Hey, man, Lindsey Graham, bro. I've been saying this the entire time. When he says a thing like that I agree with, it's awesome. But for the most part, he just loves war.
That's right, it's not about weapons of mass destruction. It's not about bringing democracy to Iran. Turns out we're fighting an ancient desert war. Exactly what MAGA voted for. Another factor that is relevant—
Bro, but Lindsey Graham, a lot of people forget this, is not actually the president of the United States. Right? People keep forgetting this because you heard one guy say one thing and all of a sudden you think that's all the things. It's not all the things. Lindsey Graham is not the president of the United States. I did not vote for Lindsey Graham. I voted for Donald Trump, and I respect and expect this to be a side quest, a short excursion, not a forever war, blow up the regime, kill the fucking bad guys that have been trying to kill us for 47 years. I think that's awesome.
To these war
and you're not going to convince me that it's bad because Lindsey Graham is retarded.
Banging on the war drum is, of course, money. Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham receive a ton of money.
Oh boy, the AIPAC diatribe. Let's go. I'm ready.
From AIPAC. Many politicians in our government are paid by AIPAC. Democrat and Republican.
All right, let's go. Break us down. Break down the AIPAC drama.
Which is why you probably don't see a ton of anti-Iran war stuff coming from even the Democrats.
Yes, you do. Literally every single day, all the time. What are you talking about?
When they would usually jump on literally anything.
They've been jumping. CNN is talking about how we're losing the war in Iran, all right? They have people on foot in Iran looking and touring their bases where they're giving Iran state propaganda. What are you even talking about?
To make Orange Man look bad. The only thing Democrats and Republicans can agree on is protecting pedophiles and war. Great. AIPAC stands for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee.
All right, I'm
now,
ready.
you might sometimes see people bring up, like, AIPAC money. Like, oh, this guy takes AIPAC money.
Yeah.
And maybe some of you don't really understand, like, why that's a big deal.
Oh, I'm so excited for to break this down. Hell yeah.
So I'm going to explain it in—
I'm gonna make my stance clear. I don't like AIPAC. I think AIPAC promotes a lot of things that I don't actually like so much. You see, I do like Israel. I think they're a fantastic ally, all in all, things said. I do think they have issues like everyone else. I think they're a foreign country. I am against all lobbying for foreign interests. I think all lobbying in America should solely be for America. Now, I'm going to hit you with a couple of factoids that you're probably not going to know before. So I'm just going to preface with this. Did you know that AIPAC is not the only American Israel PAC out there that's specifically about a foreign country? Did you know that Indians have their own version of AIPAC? So do Greeks, so do Armenians, and so do Ukrainians. They all have their own lobbying groups lobbying for their countries, their foreign countries. All right, I am against all of them. Did you know that AIPAC spent $100 million on elections in 2024? Did you know that in that same year where AIPAC spent $100 million, China spent $500 million, Japan spent $400 million, Pharma spent $400 million, Qatar spent $250 million, Saudi Arabia spent $350 million, AIPAC spent $100 million. So the reality is very, very simple. AIPAC is not even close to the biggest lobbying group in the country. It's not even remotely close to the only lobbying for foreign governments from within our country. And it's not the deciding factor on politics. It's not the giant money wheel in the government. Not even close. But anyway, so just saying, I don't like AIPAC. They are also not Satan.
In a nuanced way you can hopefully understand. The reason why people don't like big money being involved in politics in general is because it can literally purchase the way a politician will govern.
Totally agree.
For example, if a billionaire
Totally agree.
CEO of a health insurance company donates to a politician.
Totally agree. That's why I think that Big Pharma giving money to Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren is diabolical, because of course they're going to promote all of this infinite healthcare bullshit. You know, when Big Pharma funnels money to you, they're going to ban cheap alternatives to drugs. Duh.
You can bet that politician is probably not going to advocate for things like socialized healthcare or anything like that. And if a candidate takes a lot of money from something like AIPAC, that is a sign they will probably have a heavy bias toward war in the Middle East. That's why people prefer when a candidate only takes like small donations from voters. There's no...
I totally agree with her. The issue is, in my opinion, it's that there's so much foreign lobbying. Like, I'll give you an example. One of the major Republicans against Israel is Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie's biggest donors are all Muslim. Coincidence? You know, so once you start following them, Greg Abbott, all right, he's a Republican governor of Texas. That guy suspiciously oversaw the building of Sharia law cities and hundreds of mosques. Well, when you look at his donors, all of his biggest donors are Pakistani Muslims. You know, so once you actually follow the money, everything becomes complicated. I am against all of it. All of it. AIPAC isn't some big boogeyman like these other people aren't. It's just the most obvious target of criticism.
Corporations, billionaires, or foreign governments.
Yeah, she's right.
Pulling the strings
I
there.
agree with her.
Like how I take money from you, the people.
Keep donating to me, and my opinions will not change at all. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. My opinions are not bought. As proof, I got a video removed for calling Keir Starmer a faggot. Fuck.
I'm funded directly by Big Simp.
That's right.
Some politicians get paid a lot by AIPAC, and some politicians sell out for the price of a Big Mac and fries.
That's crazy.
Yikes. Weird fact, one of the top donors to AIPAC was actually the creator of OnlyFans who died recently.
Yeah.
He gave like millions of dollars to AIPAC. And AIPAC gives millions of dollars to the people in Congress. So in a weird way, our government was partially funded by OnlyFans whores.
Holy shit, that's true.
Checks out. But you gotta understand,
I believe it.
A lot of these guys would do it for free. Hypothetical. One country must no longer exist. A, the United States. B, Israel. Choose. Read Revelations and report back.
Deport him! Deport him! Why is he here? No! No, that's a nightmare, bro.
When people talk about the separation of church and state, this is the shit they're talking about.
No, it's not.
What the f***? Like, what do you mean there's an American politician saying he would rather the nation he allegedly serves be destroyed over evangelical Wakanda?
Crazy.
Get this guy out of here.
God.
I actually responded to this guy, and we had a little Twitter fight, and he just told me to read the Bible.
Oh, that's nice.
There are people in charge of our country right now who believe we have to go to war for a biblical prophecy. That is a giant, major conflict of interest. We need to be asking people like Ted Cruz and
Is it though? I love when libtards hit you with this one. Now I'm not gonna lie. I am not an evangelical Christian, just to be clear. But let me ask you a question. Why is it totally valid for politicians to decide to come into power because they get voted in and then they decide they want abortions all over the place? All right. And now we have 1/3 of our generation deleted before they're even born. And we have a Holocaust every single year of 1 million babies murdered through abortion. All right. As a hypothetical, that is totally fine because that's their political opinion. And that political opinion is influenced and based on their code of ethics, which in my opinion doesn't actually exist. I think they're evil monsters. Now, why is that okay, but it's not okay for your code of ethics to come from whatever religious leaning you have, and therefore you want to promote war in the Middle East? Now, to be clear, I am not pro-abortion. I'm also not an evangelical Christian. I'm just saying, why is it like socially acceptable for that person who has their political ideology to come in and promote baby Holocaust, but it is not okay for that guy to come in with his own perspective? And this is when democracy crumbles. Like, I see people criticizing this all the time because it's not the ideology that they hold, but if this person is democratically elected, why do you complain? If moral subjectivism is all the rage, then what's the issue to you if this guy's subjective morality is different than yours? So when I hear criticism levied towards these people, it's coming from baby killers half the time. So while I do think Shuanhead's criticism here is completely valid, I do think that she literally wanted to vote that she's a Democrat. Or, I'm sorry, a left-leaning individual. And I think the religious doctrine of grooming and castrating children and aborting babies is diabolical and evil. And this isn't a whataboutism. This is literally honing in on the core here. The core is, this is a person that was elected that you don't agree with them because of their ideology. That is democracy. Not defending that guy's position, I think his tweet was heinous, but the point that I'm trying to make here is actually very basic. We are all very comfortable shitting on that guy and saying that how dare he have religious beliefs that go against what you view as correct or decent, but we're not shitting on the race communist that's coming into power to abort our children because that's just their political ideology. That's killed a lot more of us than evangelical Wakanda. That said, point well taken. I didn't even realize that there was such a religious leaning to these people. I think that's one of the worst tweets I've ever seen.
Maybe we have
Let me see
like
the
the
tweet again.
separate real.
All right, if you could choose one country no longer the United States of Israel, and then a United States representative said, read the Bible. Oh my God, that's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. We should not be electing anyone that puts another country over ours. It's the most obvious thing in the world.
Responded to this guy, and we had a little Twitter fight, and he just major conflict of interest.
Yeah,
We need to be asking people like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham, Mike Huckabee, Mike Johnson. We need to be asking all these evangelicals in office the same exact question. Also, I just checked how much this guy gets paid from AIPAC, and whoa, buddy!
Oh, AIPAC paying a guy named Bacon? That's brutal.
Okay, so here's where it gets.
But the funny thing is, like, AIPAC became like this big baddie, but whatever. I went through the numbers already. Like, there's a reason why China's giving $500 million when AIPAC is giving 100 million.
Schizophrenic as While I am telling you this, please keep in mind, I don't believe this. This is what they believe. Because as I was writing this, I felt like a crazy person. With the evangelical doomsday lore, there is something called the Third Temple. In Judaism, there were two temples. There was the first temple built around 10th century BC, and the second temple rebuilt around the exile. And the third temple is this idea that a new Jewish temple will be built on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem to help usher in end times. Also interesting,
okay, I'm not sure why, I'm sorry, I don't know why she just said, like, this is an evangelical Christian prophecy. Like, half of the book of Ezekiel is dedicated to talking about a third temple, but also I have no idea what this has to do with the Iran war.
Side note here, Jewish people, especially Orthodox Chabad Jews, who are basically like the evangelicals of Judaism, believe
this is gonna be brutal.
Building this temple will not bring on the end times, but the Messianic Age, otherwise known as the Golden Age, where everyone will live under Noahide laws, where the concept of worshiping Jesus would basically be illegal. Meanwhile, the evangelical end times...
Yeah, look, man, are we really gonna do a whole Jew lore segment here? So first of all, it's not the Chabad Jews. I guess you got that from Tucker Carlson. Orthodox Jews do believe that a third temple will be built at the coming of the Messiah. Jews believe that we don't know who the Messiah is. It could be Jesus if he's the guy who shows up, but Jews tend to believe that it's someone alive. Worshipping Jesus would not be banned under Noahide laws because Jesus is not considered as a separate entity to God by Christians. Christians don't view Jesus as not God, just a different guy that's also a God. Christians view Jesus as the human iteration of God. Rabbis that have lived around Christians have said this. Notably, Rashi, very famous Jewish rabbi, lived in the 1100s, I think. Maimonides lived among Muslims, and he took the more Muslim idea that Jesus is a polytheistic God. However, the Jewish rabbis that actually lived among Christians did not share that ideology at all. So no, it does not. It does not say that you're not allowed to worship Jesus under Noahide laws, under that train of thought. But the idea is that in that messianic era, or whatever is Shuanhead is talking about, the idea is the entire world will come together and recognize that the Messiah is here, whoever it is. That's more the ideology. But that comes with miracles and prophecy coming back and stuff like that. So I don't think you really have to worry about the Iran war in this regard.
the Jews will convert to Christianity. So Christians and Jews are both looking to build this thing for very different reasons.
Okay, all right. Again, they're not... I feel like there's so much lore here that's got to be skipped over. If the Messiah comes and the Messiah is actually Jesus, then all the Jews are going to convert to Christianity. Because it turns out the Christians were right all of these years and Jesus was actually the Messiah. If the Messiah shows up and it's not actually Jesus, this is according to Judaism, then everyone will recognize the one true God for, you know, who he is and what he wants from us, and we'll follow the Noahide laws. That's the difference of opinion. It's not like some apocalyptic war. It's just a different idea on what the outcome would be.
That do not complement each other at all, yet they are both working together to do it, and both think they will be right in the end. Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, has openly talked about rebuilding the Third Temple.
And there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
Hey? I'm sorry. Sorry. Whoa! I did not know he believed this.
Man, we just want affordable homes and groceries. What is this?
I'm pretty sure that was Pete Hegseth's visit to Jerusalem like years ago. Yeah, he's in the King David Hotel in Jerusalem at this time.
Not possible.
Anyway, wow, that is wild.
According to the president, is apparently the guy who does not want the war to end.
I said, Pete and General Raisin Cane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled.
So,
well, the good news is Pete Hegseth is not the president of the United States.
What is so bad about rebuilding this temple? If none of this is true...
Great question, chew on head. I'm sure we'll have an answer.
Like, who gives a shit? Like, freedom of religion. Well, here's the issue.
There is currently a Muslim mosque on top of the Temple Mount that they built after ransacking the country. Because, you know, Islam is the #1 colonial religion in the world, so they build their little mosques on every other holy site that they possibly can. That's why they'll you know, convert every church that they conquer into a mosque. It's the same idea, actually. Because it's a colonial religion, they wanted to show dominance, so they built their church on the destroyed temple.
If the goal is to trigger a massive war in order to get Jesus to return, they will do to make that happen. They will want to destroy and destabilize the Middle East.
Do they say that? I haven't heard anyone say that.
And they will use your sons and daughters to do it for them.
I go back to South Carolina, I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast.
Wow, the childless warmonger with no stake in the future and moles on his ass wants our children to go fight and die in another pointless war?
Again, we're really focusing a lot on this here, but this is an inevitable war. These guys were trying to kill us for 47 years. They're going to keep trying to kill us. Death to America is part of their apocalyptic death cult religion. They view us as the great Satan. Everything they do, that they've been trying to do, was towards an eventual point where they could exterminate the American people. That was their goal. It always has been. This is not a pointless war by any means.
Last thing is true, by the way, about the moles. Look it up. Actually, don't. You'll regret it. Don't. Also, the area they want to build this temple thing on already has like a big mosque on it.
So weird. It's so weird. But I thought this was called the Temple Mount. I thought that the Al-Aqsa Mosque was built in the same place that there were 2 temples before. Wow. You mean to tell me that the colonial religion of Islam literally built their holy mosque on top of the ruins of the temple? Wow, that's weird.
Called the Al-Aqsa Mosque. I don't know how to fucking say that. And destroying this site would have like devastating consequences.
Look, I'm not saying we should go and destroy that site or anything. I'm just saying.
For the Middle East and for us.
No, it wouldn't. Get out of here. What are you fucking talking about? Destroying this mosque would not at all have any impact on us whatsoever. I'm not saying we should do it. I'm not advocating for it, okay? Just making this clear. But yeah, no.
That they care. Just keep an eye out if that Al-Aqsa Mosque gets conveniently destroyed by a rogue Iranian missile or something. And
like, you do realize that in 1967, all right, this is a lot of history, the Al-Aqsa Mosque was literally under control of the Israeli government, and they gave it back to the Muslims, all right? Like, a lot of people literally don't know anything about history. If Israel wanted it destroyed, it would be destroyed. And they don't need to wait for Iran to get involved in a war to do it.
The upcoming days of this war. So yes, it is a holy war. We are being non-consensually dragged into a holy war by...
I'm sure to some people they view it as a holy war. Trump does not view it as a holy war. Trump views it as an existential threat. Did she actually go through the whole video and not even talk about any of the talking points that Trump actually used? Like, this is sad, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I do appreciate the evangelical Wakanda deep dive for sure, don't get me wrong. But I feel like we should have definitely at least looked into what's being said, like the actual narrative.
3 different sets of desert people, just as I started to get my life together. Now here is the important question.
I'm ready.
Could all this doomsday talk these politicians are saying out loud just be religious pandering to the massive evangelical population that votes for the GOP to get them to vote for a war that is ultimately about, you know, like land and
It's really not ultimately about this though. Like, like that's the brutal part. Like, yeah, it's very interesting stuff. I'm sure Lindsey Graham definitely sees biblical prophecies being fulfilled and stuff. Don't get me wrong. But the reason why this is happening is because these guys were trying to kill us for 47 years. They've killed thousands of it. They killed 40,000 of their own people. They killed millions of people in the actual region. They've been directly trying to destroy us. They tried to assassinate Donald Trump 2 times. They've directly stated their goal of developing nuclear weapons. They say had enough uranium, 60% enriched, to actually develop 11 nukes. What are we talking about?
Weapons and territory or whatever the Yes, absolutely yes. It could all be bullshit. They might not actually believe it. I mean, a bunch of politicians, like, they're going to islands and, like, rape kids. You think these people believe in God? But remember, like I said,
damn,
many do. Sometimes people really do believe in things and they will kill and die for them. Or, you know, make you go kill and die for them. I know it's hard for people to understand this. They understand it perfectly well when it comes to radical Islam, when Muslims will, like, blow themselves up for Allah or whatever.
Yeah, because they blow themselves up.
Yet when it comes to other religions, like, they can't really comprehend it. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean the people who do won't do crazy shit. Like, because they believe in something.
Okay.
U.S. commanders across more than 30 military bases told troops the Iran war was part of God's plan and linked it to Armageddon. A commander said Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon.
Well, a tweet said it, so let's ignore the actual conversation being had about why we're at war and trust the tweet.
Military Religious Freedom Foundation says it has received over 110 similar complaints describing the war as biblically sanctioned and a sign of the Christian end times.
Wow.
So here's the question. Does Trump believe in this? No. No, I don't think so.
Absolutely
But the people
not.
around him do, and they talk about it all the time. And after
Not all
Trump-
the people around him. His vice president, for the record, obviously doesn't, very clearly doesn't. Rubio has never stated anything even remotely close to anything like this. Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't think Trump wants to do this for... He's been saying this for 40 years, that we need to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. What are we doing here? Are we just ignoring the gigantic orange elephant in the room?
Trump was like a millimeter away from being brutally and horrifically assassinated on live TV. Probably not good or healthy that he has people like Mike Huckabee in his ear, the United States ambassador to Israel, saying this in regards to bombing Iran. Mr. President, God spared you in Butler, Pennsylvania to be the most consequential president in a century, maybe ever. The decision on your shoulders I would not want to be made by anyone else. You have many voices speaking to you, sir, but there is only one voice that matters. His voice. I am your appointed servant in this land, and I am available for you, but I do not try to get in your presence often because I trust your instincts. No president in my lifetime has been in a position like yours, not since Truman in 1945. I don't reach out to persuade you, only to encourage you. I believe you will hear from heaven, and that voice is far more important than mine or anyone else's. You sent me to Israel to be your eyes, ears, and voice, and make sure our flag flies above our embassy. My job is to be the last one to leave. I will not abandon this post. Our flag will not come down. You did not seek this moment. This moment sought you. It is my honor to serve you. Mike Huckabee.
That's not so bad. I was expecting way worse. He's not telling him to bomb Iran and shit. He's just being like, listen, I believe God spared you for a reason, and you should, trust in God and make the right decision. Oh, that's not so bad. But he signed a text?
Not since Truman in 1945.
Yeah. What happened there? Right.
What did he...
Right, yeah, nukes. Oops.
What do you mean by this, chat? In conclusion...
It was a decisive moment, okay? Chill out, man. It was a decisive moment. He's not telling him to nuke Iran. Chill out, everybody.
Evangelical Wakanda is an interesting aspect to all of this to consider. It might not be the only cause of the war. I don't think it is. I think there's many different reasons.
It's not. It's quite literally not the cause of the war. Could it be fulfilling the prophecy anyway? Perhaps. But that is not why we're at war. It's just a very funny coincidence that very often we do things for very logical reasons and they end up exactly as ordained and predetermined. But it's a coincidence, I'm sure. Coincidences are hilarious.
I think it is pretty important to consider the fact that there are people in power right now who are very close to the President of the United States who may be a teeny itsy bitsy bit biased when it comes to war in the Middle East. Also, draft Lindsey Graham. That is all. Thank you for your attention to this matter. If you guys
Damn, that was good.
want a completely uncensored version of this video with no bleeps, donate to my Patreon, link down below.
Yo, I have a Patreon too! Bro, that's crazy! I'll feel so much better if I get people on my Patreon. I'll feel so much better calling Keir Starmer a faggot on YouTube if I have donations on Patreon. So support me there as well. Of course, this was a great video. In all, my major complaint was she didn't tackle the actual reason why we're at war, which is sad. Also, this war, I'm still saying, this is not going to be a forever war. And I'm going to be justified. You're going to see. I'm going to be right. And time will tell. I'll be right. She'll be wrong. I will be vindicated. She wouldn't have managed to make an entire video about Israel not talking about the Jews. This is actually fucking insane. And I think just because evangelical Christians have a belief system about what the end times will look like, it doesn't mean every single evangelical Christian thinks that we should try to start Armageddon to jumpstart the end times. And I think that's an insane takeaway I'm trying to not make from this video. I actually really like evangelical Christians. They're like fucking awesome people. I like most Christians, actually. I'm pretty based like that. Praying to God this war could end really quickly. It could end with obliterating the retards. The Iranian people rise up, take their country back, create a Wakanda of their own. I don't want our boots on the ground. I don't want to fund foreign governments. I feel like Shuanhead and I actually agree on a lot of things here, and I think that in time, when I am proven correct, because I will be, that this is not going to be a forever war, I would like her to say, wow, actually, it's really nice not needing to worry about Iran, a death cult that quite literally is hell-bent on destroying us. They won't have the ability to destroy us. I'm just saying it will be really nice. And if this does end up a forever war, I will take the L and immediately say Shuanhead was correct, and I was retarded. But I am confident that is not an apology I will ever have to make. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm praying to God I'm right. And I'm praying to God that he keeps us safe. Because, you know, biblical or not, this is scary times. Anyway, that was today's deep dive. This was the deepest of dives. This was a really long video. Definitely subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye!